Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And we're back with the Nerdy.
The Wordy.
The Book Club. That's right, we have returned from that country south of us where things are fine, where everything is A-okay, to talk about Brandon Sanderson's Shadows of Self, prologue through chapter 6. It's episode 1 of the Shadows of Self read-through.
Hell yeah.
Do you have official government mail as your bookmark right now?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Why?
Because it was nearby. It was the closest thing that I could grab while I was reading it.
Okay.
It's fine. It's
I just can't imagine being like, I'm gonna go sit with my little book. And then I open my book and I'm like, oh right, the stressful government shit that I have to deal with.
It's empty. It's just the ripped up envelope.
Insane. Like, actually, as an audiobook mostly person on this podcast, I'm not using a lot of bookmarks, so I feel like I shouldn't be judging. But using an envelope that's larger than the book you're reading, that is official government mail, is insane.
I can see it from either side of the book. You know what I mean?
Welcome to Book Club, where we're totally normal. Blue, drop it in here with 20 gifted memberships. Holy shit.
Wow, that's a lot of memberships.
Yeah. More than one.
Holy shit. It is definitely
more than one. Blue, thanks so much.
Thank you. Holy shit. That means so many of you are going to be able to watch those reactions. There's going to be 6 of them this coming week. And yeah.
Are any of those chapters, like, super long?
I have no idea. I haven't even looked.
Oh, God.
I just saw the list today.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We'll be for LA in 8 days.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Blue, thank you so much.
Guys, our life is falling apart.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I woke up kind of losing my voice, so I'm sorry if I, if I am slightly quieter than I normally would be.
Which means that the audio disparity of our podcast will be even greater than usual, as my voice will probably still be loud.
I mean, you could, put in that acting training and soften your voice.
No. No, if there's... I'm really good at acting in a lot of ways. And I think I can say that, given my career, but the thing I'm not good at is being quiet.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impossible.
Yeah.
You have not read the book. No worries, Blue. Thank you so much. We appreciate you anyways.
Hopefully we do a good enough job describing it that you're like, you know what? I feel like I got the vibe. And that vibe, Western.
It is. It's Western and it's fun and it's a good time. Before we get into the book,
should we talk about our flight last night?
Oh my God. Well, the flight was a nightmare last night.
We flew from Orlando, red eye last night, and sorry, that wasn't
Nailed it.
Wasn't actually that bad. But what was bad was they said it was going to be very turbulent, and it wasn't. But then after we landed, we
were on the plane waiting to get off for like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the door was broken.
But not the door to the plane. The slide... So, because we were flying internationally into Canada, we had to go into the, customs area.
Yeah.
And so this one sliding door that divided the customs area from the domestic area just wouldn't open.
Yeah.
Which,
it is so dumb.
So after an hour and 40 minutes where we sat there at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. The poor pilot's making jokes. He's like, sorry guys, I think this is the plan next. And then he's like, oh no, we're not doing that plan. We're going to do the plan I suggested over an hour ago. We're like, I'm so sorry, bud.
He was like, they said it's going to be 5 minutes, but it's Air Canada, so it'll be 15.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, you work for Air Canada.
Yeah, it was very funny. Carrie, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. 9 out of 10 Nerds Radiant love their Sunni pups, and they're only getting more popular, so it might even be 10 out of 10 soon.
That's good.
Wow.
It's good, Carrie.
I hated that.
Thank you for being a Nerds Radiant.
God damn it.
But the other reason why the flight was weird.
Yep.
A little announcement was made.
If you saw
I should have
pulled
the video.
Yeah, if you saw the Discord, you already know.
Here, I'll play it on my phone, and then maybe this will make sense.
No, don't play it on your phone. It's gonna sound bad.
No, here. This is gonna work.
Oh, you have like the literal clip.
Do I?
But if they hear it, they don't know who's saying it.
No, but I can show... Watch, this is gonna work.
Great. This is fantastic podcast content.
You know what? It is. And honestly, if you don't recognize this voice immediately upon the beginning of his conversation...
Then you probably don't know what's happening. David, welcome back to the Nerds Are Radiant, calling Trudeau right now.
What the fuck? Why is it the Incredibles theme playing?
I have no idea. We need emergency door repairs in the next budget. It's not playing out loud.
Why is there no audio on this?
Do you have your AirPods connected?
No.
This is going really well.
I just don't... Like, my phone's just not working.
Hosting charity streams of Daggerheart with the team
Shit.
over at Roleplay. And coming soon, the Darrington Press YouTube channel will be hosting charity streams of Daggerheart with the team over at Roleplay Relay to help raise funds for fire relief as well. So
That's right. Matt Mercer said the name of our company on a thing.
Hell yeah, let's go.
It's weird. Can we acknowledge why it's weird first?
Sure.
So we're going to be working with Critical Role and Darrington Press on a series of charity. We're basically, they liked Heroes Without Borders, our charity event, and they're like, can you produce that again for us? So we are going to be producing a series. There's not a lot of details that we can say beyond that at the moment.
That'll come out soon.
But it's weird because on the one hand, it's like the coolest thing that has happened to us in our entire content career.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's happening is that devastating fires vastly impacted our friends.
Sure.
And there is this weird tension in it where, like, I want to celebrate this moment and what we've accomplished and what we've worked towards.
Yeah.
And also...
The reasoning behind it
The reasoning behind it sucks.
So fucked, yeah.
And it's a really weird thing. At the same time, these fires vastly impacted so many people that I love and a place that I love. And I feel like because of the work that we've put in the future, we are being given an opportunity to do something about that.
Yeah.
While the fires were happening, I think that one of the things that we both felt was that there was a kind of a hopeless kind of just watching the news because it just felt like we were so far from it. There was nothing we could do to help our friends.
Yeah.
And so I'm very grateful and so excited to be working with this company that I am a very big fan of and that I really enjoy their content. They raised over $350,000 last night, which was I'm just not going to compare myself to. But I also want to acknowledge, like, we're getting a very cool opportunity because of something that I'm devastated by.
Yeah.
And there's a two-sidedness to that.
Yeah, but this is our opportunity to help.
Yeah.
Up here in Canada land.
In Canada. So yeah, look out for that. There's gonna be more announcements coming. If you want to know first, you're gonna want to follow their socials, the Darrington Press team, because that's where we'll be sharing mostly things that they share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Is pretty cool.
It's pretty dang cool.
Yeah. I did not expect Matt Mercer to say the name of our company on a live stream this year.
Well, and the thing was, we were literally on the plane, and our plane was supposed to take off at 10:15.
Oh, yeah.
And the live stream started at 10.
It started at 10:05.
Sorry, it started at 10:05. And normally, I'd be excited that the plane was leaving early, but we were trying to catch this announcement before we hit the air.
Yeah.
So it literally happened as we're, like, on the runway.
We were hoping to hear him say it, because we knew we knew the text of what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And so as the plane was literally like taking off, we're both listening, hoping that we get it before the internet died.
Yeah.
And then we found out that because of my credit card, we have free Wi-Fi on Air Canada. So
hell yeah.
we actually got to watch some of that stream. It was pretty incredible. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. But we're not here for Roleplay Relay stuff, a channel you should definitely be following. We're here for book club, which means it's time to talk about Shadows of Self. Clarus, we're 2 books in. We're a book in 6 chapters into Era 2 now. How you feeling?
Pretty good. I don't know how I feel about Wayne.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the weird thing to talk about today.
That's why the title of the video is Wayne, why are you like this?
Yeah, that's gonna be a weird one, but everything else, it's pretty cool. It's pretty dang cool. Yeah, no, I like these books. I like that it feels a little lighter, but familiar, and so I've been having a good time. But yeah, that one that we reacted to was weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
How you feeling?
I'm okay. I am curious. I'm. It's been so long since I feel like we read this because we finished the reading before we went on vacation.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're both feeling a little bit run down today, but especially given how late we got in last night. But there is a huge part of me that really was like, we can't cancel the show or else I have to wait to keep reading. Yeah. So like that's a good sign, right? Like the fact that I am as like, well, I just want to keep going. This one felt like it felt like a light split in terms of what we got into, and I think that ending on me being like, the fuck Wayne, was just kind of a weird taste in my mouth that I feel like I'll wash away pretty quickly once we get into the next section.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now. I enjoyed it. Like I think it's fun. It's a fun start. I'm excited about the concept of like the people who can make themselves faster and how does our team fight that versus Miles, which was more of a brute force thing, and this is going to be more of a like, you're going to have to outthink someone who can think and move faster than you, and that's I think a really good villain for book 2. And so I'm excited for it. I'm enjoying the concepts and the characters mostly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to remember the exact like point even that we left off, but I actually don't know if it's. Yeah, no, this bookmark is in 5 because I think we reacted.
Yeah, we reacted to 5 and 6.
Right.
But let's just start at the beginning today. With Wax and Wayne, we got young Wayne, because we're starting the prologue. And this is a prologue about how Wax and Wayne went over to Weathering, and they were trying to root out Granite Joe.
Yeah, Wayne's like a child.
Yeah, a murderer, but a child.
Yeah.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
No.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
You would hope they would be. Like, most of the time, you're, like, hoping that kids haven't committed murder.
Well.
But not always.
True, that, That seems to be a definite point of this book.
And, honestly, a lot of Brandon Sanderson books.
Child murderers?
I mean, Vin, murderer. Right? Before the age of 18. Lift has killed some people. Are we back in the same video?
No.
Dang it. No, wait. No, they say we're back in the same video.
Oh. Oh, yeah, we are.
Holy crap, it worked. Guys, OBS straight up crashed.
Yeah, literally just died. That was wild.
All right, back to book club.
Spencer Drake, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant. Or welcome to the Nerds Radiant.
Yeah, what's up,
Thank
Spencer Drake? Dave Peltier says, calling Trudeau right now. We need emergency door repairs in the budget now.
That's for the doors for the airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trudeau resigned. So I don't know who you call at the moment.
Who are you going to call?
It's a question Canadians are going to be asking for a while now. We'll figure it out. It's a great time for us to not have a technical prime minister. Because tariffs. One of the other things about last night, not to get political in the moment, but Donald Trump signed the tariffs on Canada at the same time that Matt Mercer was saying roleplay relay.
I know.
And I was like, great. Really just the duality of man in this moment.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, wait, so who has Lift killed?
Lots of people. Lift dropped that cart on, a city. Lift is careless in a way that, has definitely gotten people killed.
Injured, maybe.
No. Lift hasn't, stabbed anybody. But the way that Lift bops around places all willy-nilly, in Edge Dancer, she literally, shoves that cart of food off a cliff onto a like unhoused population. Somebody died. And that's the reality of it.
All right.
Yeah. Father Jerusalem, this is the weirdest Air Canada commercial ever. Trust me, it's not a commercial.
Yeah, no, we're not fans. That's for sure.
We might be next time, but today we're not.
Today we are not fans of Air Canada.
Yeah, we were on the way there because we got upgraded, but on the way back, not cool.
It wasn't Air Canada.
Oh, that's right.
It was like JetBlue or some shit.
Yeah. Let's stop talking about this. Let's talk about how Wayne, Wax, go to meet Granite Joe. And Wax has a dapper little cravat because he's got to have a thing.
Yeah.
Much like the strippers in Gypsy, you got to have a gimmick. It's one of the best songs of that show. And if you are in New York, go see Gypsy. Leslie Margarita crushes it in that number. Great song.
Can you tell that we went and saw it while we were there?
Audra McDonald's amazing.
True.
Keladri Kingo, thank you for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. So they're going to see Granite Joe, whose name is Granite Joe because he's a big, strong boy. And he is running shit here in Weathering. In fact, when Wax goes inside, Wayne is not allowed to go inside. Wayne is left outside to take care of the horses.
Wax is also very bad at his job. Wax is like, I'm going to show up to Granite Joe's house.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm here to see Joe. Don't worry about it. And they're all like, yeah, okay. Why don't you go wait in that back room?
Yeah. And so he does. And the bartender sends him upstairs. And in through the window pops Lessie. What's up, girl?
Yeah.
You're dead in the future, so that sucks.
That's unfortunate.
When this happened, I was like, why are we... There was a part of me that was like, I didn't understand why the prologue was going back to Lessie.
Yeah.
It felt like book 1 did such a good job tying that off.
Yeah.
And I think that the even by the end of chapter 6, I was like, oh yeah, I get why the prologue did that.
Yeah.
But Brandon Sanderson does like to do like the prologues are all the same theme. Like Stormlight does this with the going back to the night that
day.
Kevlar died.
Yeah.
And but this one, even by the end of this one, it felt a little bit like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that I needed that information, but yeah, it was interesting. But this is the moment that Leslie and Wax meet. Oh my god, I need things to stop booping on the computer. I'm gonna lose my mind.
I know, it's freaking me out.
We meet, this is the moment where Wax and Leslie meet as she bursts in the window, ostensibly also looking for Granite Joe, but she does tell Wax in this moment, everyone in this building works for Joe.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, clearly that can't mean you. You just broke in through the window.
Well.
That's weird.
Plot twist in the prologue. I mean, she does work for Granite Joe, so.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, it's a good time. But she doesn't kill Wax.
Yeah.
She likes his cravat, I guess.
And so Wax figures out that there must be a basement to this building, and all of the men downstairs want to kill them. They're basically at a standoff as the people are pew-pewing up the stairs. And so Wax is like, what if, hey, guys, I got a great fucking idea. What if we skip the main floor, and I just get real heavy real fast? And so much like when the bomb was exploding in Wax's manor in book 1, he makes himself real heavy, and him and Leslie drop down.
Yeah.
That sounded like a fart. That was the wrong sound effect.
You know what? I saw what you were going for.
And suddenly, boom, Granite Joe's right there, and they're like...
Pew pew.
And the inevitable betrayal of Leslie. As she reveals, Wax... I'm looking for this motherfucker.
She doesn't really betray him.
No.
She's like, yeah, you know, I was going to have to kill this motherfucker
She betrays
eventually.
him for like 5 seconds.
Whatever. You know what? This is fun. Let's fuck around. I also just love how bad Wax is at first.
Yeah.
He's like, really does not know how to do this job. Which is fair. He's like a rich boy who grew up in the city. Like,
You're a rich boy.
It's one of those weird things where I'm like, yeah, no, of course you're not great at this. It is a miracle that Wax didn't die before he got good.
Yeah. It really is. It is the privilege of superpowers. Right? Like, Wax really... Unlike Marcy, who takes this shit seriously and is like, I'm going to study this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like take classes and get good. I'm gonna know every damn statistic known to the crime people of the world. Wax really went into this with superpowers in a dream, and
Pretty much.
God, it's hard not to say like, God, Wax got lucky. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard not to look at the way that it went down for Wax and say like, God, what a lucky boy.
Truly. Yeah. I love that he also named his horse Destroyer.
Yeah.
And she's like the most chill.
I am Death, Destroyer of
She's like,
Worlds.
so.
Yeah, well, and so they crash down, and basically, Granite Joe is they basically Granite Joe's stalling to make sure that reinforcements can arrive. There is also a sniper on the other side of the street.
Right.
Like the Granite Joe really has them pinned down.
Yeah.
And it does seem like they were ready for Wax. You know what I mean? Like they were like they knew that he was an Allomancer.
Yeah.
So Wax's time in the roughs the word's getting out.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. It
And
doesn't even seem like he's been there that long.
yeah, they get to the stand up with Greta Joe, and he's like, she betrays him. He says, "It sucks you betrayed me because your legs are great. You've got sexy ass legs." And she's like, "You know what? That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." And she shoots Joe in the head.
Yeah, it's great. I guess so. The part that I was like a little bit confused about is there was like time that they had met before, where she was like, I guess undercover as like a dancer or something like that, and was wearing something that she normally wouldn't wear.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that you have great legs," and she's like, "Well."
She was dressed all fancy and wearing a dress, which Leslie don't wear dresses.
Since you were so nice to me, I'm gonna shoot my boss. And then they ride off into the sunset with a child and a very casual horse.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the prologue. Yeah, it's fine.
It was cute. It was nice to see like Wax like
yeah, it was
just
cute.
not being immediately incredible at his job.
James Ross says not quite how it went down. What did we get wrong, James Ross?
They ride off into the sunset.
Yeah. They
Maybe
boop
it's
up
midday.
through the hole.
No.
The Wax. Oh, I did like Wax takes a intimidating pose on Granite Joe's body, and the thugs are like,
Yeah, that was
we're
a
not
choice.
doing that.
They're like, you know what, not worth it. Honestly, we did not get paid enough to be upset that our boss is dead, so
yeah,
we're just gonna go with it, you know?
yeah.
The roughs are a weird place. You just gotta go with the flow. Sometimes your boss gets shot.
Is that the t-shirt? Sometimes your boss gets shot.
Yeah. Hashtag shadows of self. Mistborn Era 2. It's not wrong.
I mean, it's not right.
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess in that world, sometimes your boss gets shot is something that people would say to each other.
Sometimes is vague enough.
True. I feel like sometimes it has happened more than once.
Okay.
Like, I think that something happening one time does not mean
Miles
sometimes.
got shot so many times.
Miles got shot a lot.
So that's
That's
at least
true.
twice.
Both the bosses of both of these books have gotten shot
There you go.
relatively early in said books.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Landa says it's true for the real world too. I don't know which part of the real world you live in, but most of my bosses have not been shot.
No, but like that CEO of that healthcare company was the boss of a lot of people.
Yep.
He was.
You're
A
not-
lot of people can say now, my boss
you're
got shot.
Not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big company.
exactly.
Like, how many people work for United Healthcare? That's got to be in the tens of thousands.
Exactly. That's tens of thousands of people who can be like, yeah, my boss got shot. Crazy world that we live in, you know?
Is that enough to say sometimes? I think we have to say yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I've also seen it in movies, you know?
Chapter 1,
Anyways.
Shadows of Self. Windsting Innate. Which was very confusing to me in the in the audiobook, every time that
Like,
his
what?
name was said, I thought they were saying Winston in it. Because I was listening at 2 times speed.
Right.
And I was like, what's with the Cockney in it on
In it?
this guy's name?
Yeah. No,
it's Winston in it.
Yeah, just his last name.
No, when I slowed the book down, I was like, oh, Winston Innate.
Yes. We got there.
Sick.
That is very funny.
He is the brother of the governor of Ellendale. Big, powerful man. He also has a Senate seat because families.
Yeah, but he is corrupt.
Yeah. This is my favorite kind of corruption.
Where they're like, yeah, I'm corrupt.
No, where he's like, I'm going to sell this painting, and the person who buys my shitty ass painting gets my vote. I'm gonna auction off. It's just like if George W. Bush became president again, and like the king of Saudi Arabia was like, I'm going to buy this portrait you did, and he's like, oh great, I'm gonna lower oil prices for you.
Love that. I feel like people would catch on to what happens, but that's because we have the internet and they don't.
Well, and I love that Winston keeps insisting that his painting is getting better.
Yeah.
He's like, this is my best one yet. And everyone is like, why are we here to buy this shitty fucking painting?
Yeah, he likes the drama of it.
I
sure.
would too. If I was a corrupt politician and I could throw a party where everyone comes to bid for my attention, oh my god.
This is Nerdy's dream.
Yeah,
actually.
I want a bunch of people to be at a party fighting for who gets to control my vote in the Senate for the next year.
You're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Someone can buy it off of me.
Yeah, I think he does know what to do with it. It's just that he values money over
Everything?
integrity.
Yeah.
Like the President of the United States.
Yep. It's been a crazy week, y'all. Happy 2025.
2025's already wild. The president's running a fucking pump and dump scheme.
Oh my god. I literally had to delete Twitter off of my phone.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there is something every 5 minutes, and I can't keep up.
Z-Tom says, or I'll finance a purchase of Twitter. Then you'll put a guy who's going to do what we want in a position of power. What? Anyway, it's been a weird month.
It's been a weird... Yep.
Been a weird month.
A weird January.
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going around. There's a bunch of people here who are very cool. I'm not going to talk about them because they are all dead.
Yeah,
at the end of
they
this.
don't matter.
They don't matter. Basically, the party falls apart
Turns into a shootout.
because everyone gets shot.
Yeah.
And
The bodyguards of Winston rush him to, like, a safe room.
yeah,
And then they come back and then they kill him.
they do come
so
back,
he is also dead.
and then they kill him. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
This
The
was
end.
a wild chapter to read. I was like, this feels like a prologue.
Well, it felt like, yeah, no, I agree with that.
This was prologue number 2.
I think that's maybe why the beginning of this book had a weird kind of feeling. Not bad at all. But just I was kind of like, oh, we're meeting like the criminal underbelly that we're going to like watch Wax take out.
And then they're all dead.
And then they were all just immediately murdered. And I was like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Like you could start this book with Wax showing up to the murder scene and it wouldn't change much for me. Like learning about these people kind of doesn't do anything for me because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm never going to remember their names. They're in one chapter and then they're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was obviously fun to read in the way that we did. Obviously, this guy trying to sell his painting, like, the perspective of it made it more comedic.
Sure, and I agree with that. It was fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
It was for setting the tone of the book, I think, more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Which
the confusion of the attack, and I understand that perspective.
Yeah, the setup of it actually I think was great, and then the twist at the end where they just fucking like slit his throat. I was like, damn.
Yeah. No, but I think you called a little bit of my feeling there with like it's kind of like a double prologue.
A little bit.
Yeah,
for sure.
And Winston
Mr. Suit, not there. Didn't show up.
Specifically did not accept the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah. He never said he was going to be there. To be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I also one of my favorite things in this chapter is that Winston is like, I'm not gonna fucking call him Mr. Suit.
He's like, what a dumbass fucking name.
I want Ed Warren, what a name, Ed Warren Ladrian to be here. I am not calling him by his dumb fucking moniker. Which, like, I feel like superhero comics don't get into enough. That, like, there would be a bunch of people that are like, Doc, I'm not calling you Mr. Freeze. Like, I'll work for you. Like, I'm not calling you the Penguin, Oswald. And, you know what? Actually, Gotham got into that. Gotham, yeah, everyone was like, oh, it's like, no, I'm not calling you I'm not going to call you the Penguin. You fucking loser. But that show used it mostly because people were always kind of shitting on him. But I do feel like if I was a guy's henchman, I'm like, Mr. Suit, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, fuck, man.
Yeah, all right.
We're in our house. You know what I mean?
Friends.
We're at home.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is a fair point. Yeah, I'm like...
So, Winston gets his throat slit from behind. Who do you think did the throat slitting?
I thought it was his guard.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, but...
Yeah, I don't know. What we find out later, because the reveal later on in this, really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Pretty great.
Chapter 2. Steris and Wax getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna shine.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out wedding invitations, and Steris is like, so who are we inviting for you? And he's like,
Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne. That's...
Marcy.
Yeah.
No, actually, Marcy's on Steris' side.
Yeah.
So... Renette.
And, like, that's all I got. And she's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm inviting these people. And he's like, oh, yeah, they tried to kill me. She's like, yeah, no, I know. I'm going to keep tabs on them.
I love Steris so much.
She's like, I know exactly the percentage of drama that I want at this wedding.
Well, yeah, and her reasoning is so sound, right? She's like, look,
yeah,
someone is going to try and kill you at our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to know where they're sitting.
Yeah. I want to know where they are at all times. I don't want them to barge in and interrupt, because that's rude.
No, that would be awful.
No, I want them to feel welcome,
Yeah.
and then we'll kick their ass.
Yeah. And we'll put them on the side of the room where we know that they're going to attack us from. Officially, Sam says, just realized that some conjure could really traumatize Mr. Soup by turning into a talking dog and sadly speaking his name, Ed Warren Play.
Here's the thing. Only if Mr. Suit has seen Full Metal Alchemist.
He
Otherwise,
seems like a weeb.
Otherwise, he would have absolutely no context for
Nah,
that
he seems like a weeb.
at all.
I feel like he's
probably seen Full Metal.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Yeah.
At this, I mean, I haven't. I've only seen Brotherhood, but
Yeah.
I Wax having nobody is so fascinating to me, because like they've been there for this book takes place. Oh, it's been a year since the first book, right?
Was it a full year?
Yeah, it's been a year. What?
Well, I thought. Sorry, I didn't
How
realize it was that long.
not social has Wax been in the last year?
I thought it was like 6 months.
6 months is plenty of time. He's going to all these events with Steris.
No, he's arresting people.
No, but they're going to like parties, right?
Sure.
They're like social events because he's a lord, and he's making
He's supposed to go.
no friends.
Yeah.
Wax is pulling an Elland, showing up with a book, sitting down next to a street urchin.
He's pulling a Dalinar and drinking in the back with the beggars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's pulling a Dalinar and killing somebody, and then using that knife to cut a steak open.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Wax, despite being a charismatic person of some import in this city,
Cannot make
has
friends.
made no friends.
Very bad at this. All of his friends want to shoot him.
Yeah. Which is fair. I want to shoot a few of my friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll let him know.
Yeah.
They should be forewarned, just in case. Although we're in Canada, it's harder to get a gun.
And that we get a great joke where Wax is like, well, just invite my family. And she's like, they also want to kill you. I don't know if you know this, but Mr. Suit is the bad guy of the series,
Yeah.
and he's your uncle.
Your sister is, like, supposed to be dead? She is legally dead?
I want the sister to be at the wedding,
I know.
right? But we don't know where she is. And also, like, she can't come back to society or else everyone will know that Edward is alive.
Or that something sus is going on.
Yeah. And so... Oh, you know what? You know what is actually surprising to me? That where his sister is hasn't come up more at the beginning of the book. Just a little bit. Like, I'm surprised we didn't get more of a moment of him acknowledging that he's, like, looking for his sister.
I mean, it was a throwaway line.
Sure, but it's not a throwaway feeling to me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm sure the book will get to it.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised this book didn't start with him, like, worrying about her and some, or, you know, just some sort of acknowledgement of her.
Yeah.
Although the book one also establishes they're not close, so, like,
yeah,
she might not be.
She's like, I should feel
that
worse.
high on his mind.
Guillermo, thank you for that super chat. Dalinar is not such a barbarian. He did wash that knife in his wine first.
Okay, but, how deep was the wine? Like, wine in a glass is like that. And so if he plunged the knife into a person, he only washed the tip of his knife. There's still human blood on the rest of the knife.
Just...
Sure.
Guillermo,
thank you for fucking 10 gifted members.
thank you so much.
What are you guys doing today? He had a pint glass at
They
Dalinar.
missed us, because we were gone for a week.
Well, you're not going to miss us this week, because we have 6 audiobook reactions.
We're going to be all up in your notifications, all right?
All loop in them. YouTube members, Patreons.
Yeah, thank you so much for 10 gifted memberships. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, seriously, thank you. So Steris is deciding. They ultimately decide they're gonna marry. They're gonna invite a bunch of seamstresses and, like, metal workers and people who work under Dalinar and some of the constable generals of the city because he's not friends with them, but at least those people, like, have to show up because they work for him.
Mm-hmm.
Not the constables, but, like, the people under his family. It is sort of like getting invited to your boss's wedding and showing up and everyone on the boss's side are people you work with.
Pretty much.
Which I would hate.
Yeah.
If that happened to me, unless I, like, knew that my boss's family had, like, died in a car accident, you know, they all died, right? If I showed up to my boss's wedding and everyone there worked for them, like, his family wasn't there, it would be a red flag to me.
Yeah.
Now, granted, in this world, they can't leave their jobs. So, there is that.
Fair.
This world's really, it's what it's
Yeah,
so
it takes
dark.
generations to work back up to a good position.
Yeah. But all of this wedding talk, this boring fucking wedding talk,
is interrupted by Wayne.
Yeah, we gotta go. Something happened. It's time to go fight the Marksman, which is like a C-tier super villain name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
He doesn't last very long.
he's not on the level of, like, the Joker. The Joker's a pretty good villain name, you know? This is when you're getting into, like, Taskmaster and the Swordsman.
Yeah. You're like, the name could use some work.
This is a Disney Plus villain, not a Disney movie villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we gotta go find him. And so we head outside, and what's outside?
Marcy's there in a motor car.
What? Women are allowed to drive? What is this? Who allowed a woman behind the wheel?
Yeah, we don't have that prejudice in this world.
Illegal here in Canada.
Wow. Okay, good to know. Then I won't bother learning. Jesus Christ.
I promise you I'm joking. I just want to make it. I want to make it real clear.
I don't think so.
I was driven by a woman yesterday. I want to be real. Actually, I wasn't. 2 days ago.
Yeah, but not in Canada.
That's true. You know what? That's actually true. I wasn't in Canada for that.
Oh my fucking god. Anyways, yeah, Marcy has a motor car, which is kind of it belongs to the police, right?
And Bryce says, you're right. All women should have personal chauffeurs that are at their beck and call. I mean, Clarus does.
That would be ideal.
Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong, though?
No. It's great. I mean, I can take the bus, so it's fine. But
yeah, but if you're like, drive me, I'm like, okay.
Thank you.
I know. And so Marcy is driving a car. Marcy, no longer a lawyer. This girl goes through jobs faster than any human being I've ever heard of in my entire life. She is now a constable, but not just any constable. She is the assistant constable to the constable general of the 8th Octant.
Yep.
Yeah, a job that was not a Nepo baby thing at all, probably.
It was supposed to go to someone else.
It was
She
supposed to go to
wrote a
someone
really
else.
good essay.
Yeah, her cover letter was incredible.
Kids, don't let someone tell you cover letters aren't important.
Yeah.
If Mary's cover letter got her this job, who knows what it could get for you?
Have you ever written a cover letter for a job?
Yeah.
Really? I haven't.
I mean, I've written them for like theater jobs.
What?
Yeah.
What fucking theater job? What? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay, so
Tangent time. What?
So Soul Pepper did a thing where they would. It was basically like what do you call it? Almost like a program.
Yeah.
Where they teach you, and you also work for them in their shows at the same time. So you get.
Oh, so it's like yeah.
It's
okay.
a program.
Yeah.
To
That's
be
different.
like mentored. Yeah. That's why I was like, let me explain. I don't love writing cover letters, and I don't think they're actually that useful a lot of times.
No.
I think honestly, like the most important thing when you're hiring someone is the actual vibe with the person. But Mary's cover letter was banging, I guess.
I'm not gonna lie. I have gotten multiple jobs where I was supposed to write a cover letter, and I just didn't. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. They're like,
What kind of jobs?
Like waitering and
Waitering jobs ask for a cover letter?
Yeah. Yeah, a bunch of different things. But I've always been like, I'm not gonna do that. And they're like, well, and I'm like, look, do you need someone for the position or not?
Yeah, I'm not here to try.
I'm not writing you a letter about how I want to be the best waiter in New York City.
Please tell me how my writing skills are relevant to waiting on tables.
Yeah. Yeah. Please tell me how my writing skills are relevant to selling candy.
Yeah, literally. No, that's so fair. I love candy. Candy's really tasty. When I was a little kid, I super duper loved eating candy. Like
Yeah. Yeah, cover letters, I have to imagine on a corporate level they make sense.
I don't even know if they want to read them.
I don't think they want to read them, but I think that there has to be. I don't know. Anyway, cover letters are dumb, and
but it worked for Marcy, so
good
for her.
So are college essays. You know what I mean? Like college essays are stupid.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, yeah.
Having read a bunch of them, they're all the same. There's no.
That's why Elle Woods got into
in
Harvard because she showed up in person.
This is not a personal essay. Exactly.
No, an essay so boring and so much does not fit. So we're appearing live right here, making sure you must admit that Elle Woods should join the chosen few. Harvard, what you want is right in front of you.
Like,
there you go.
I understand the concept of like we want to know that you can write an essay.
Sure.
But a lot of college essays are like it's 800 words. And you're like, that's barely an essay. That's a one piece.
That's
a
cover
sheet of paper.
That is a cover letter.
And everyone is like, this is the time. This is why when I broke my arm. And then you're like, you learn nothing about someone from an essay.
No.
Anyway, you should have to make a YouTube video. That should be the new thing. You have to sit down and make a YouTube video where you just talk for like 5 minutes.
I don't know. I think that's so much worse for a lot of people.
So much worse. But for any like public facing job, so much more valuable than reading an essay. Like, how do you communicate?
Yeah, if it's a public facing job, absolutely.
But like, how many times have you been like, I need to write this essay, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get my mom to edit it. And then it's like, well, did you even write it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a terrible story. Guys, this can't be repeated because I think this is illegal. I think the statute of limitations has to be up on it because it was 15 years ago.
Great. Love this for me.
I submitted applications to universities that had essays on them that I did not write. And now you might be wondering, did I plagiarize? No. Did I use AI? No, it was 2009. Did my mom write the essay without telling me because she didn't think that I would get it done in time? Yes. And so, did my mom tell me about the essay? No. But did she write the essay? Yes, she did. And so I got into college on an essay my mom wrote thinking that I was going to procrastinate too hard.
Wow.
Yeah, not for the school that I ended up going to, so I don't think it really matters.
Fair.
But I did get into I think mom wrote 2 essays, and I got into both those schools. No.
That's absurd.
It was 15 years ago. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, at this point, whatever.
I've almost paid off my student loans at this point. They can't come for me.
No, she wasn't right. He didn't know about the essay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
My mom was my ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Wow. Oh my God. I did not know that about you. Normally I've heard all your stories, and that one's new.
Yeah, it's not what I throw out there very often. It's not that I wouldn't have written it too, which is what's so funny. My mom was like, yeah, I just wrote it. And I was like, why?
You did procrastinate graduating high school until, what, 18 hours before?
Only French 10, but yeah.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah, I finished high school in the last, 12. That's a longer story. We need to talk about the book. We take off in the motor car, and we are racing.
We're off in a motor car.
This thing is an early motor car, so I'm assuming...
It goes like 15 miles an hour. Yeah. Yeah, we are racing.
Like, Wax could be moving so much faster flying through the air, but they're like...
Yeah.
I also love... Because I've been in, refab, old cars like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like... He's like, yeah, she took the corner really hard. And I just know that it was like...
Yeah. I honestly, I want this scene in live action just because I want it to feel so slow.
Yeah. With just, the sputtering engine.
Yeah. They're chasing the marksman.
Yeah, so the marksman, they find him bounding through the street using steel pushes. And so...
There's a really cool fight in a building.
Well, yeah, Wax jumps out of the car and starts using the cars to jump around. And it's hard to talk about this sequence of events without just reading it as it's happening.
Right.
But the way in which this chapter establishes the changing city and the way in which it allows for him to steel push Wax to steel push around and move differently here was really cool. I really enjoyed this action sequence. Not so much for the action, but for the way in which Brandon Sanderson used the action to tell a story about how technology changes society.
Yeah.
And I thought it was one of the most evocative and clever bits of writing in the Mistborn Era 2 so far.
Yeah. Yeah. We established the Hayes killer round.
Yeah.
That gets pushed through the wall, which is very cool. Marx takes off, and they have to chase him into almost the slums.
Yeah.
Kind of. It is kind of their version of it, which they bring up, and Wax thinks that he sees the face of Bloody Tan. Mm-hmm. Prologue guy, first book, that he shot in the head. Mm-hmm.
Relevant guy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have a really we have a really cool fight in the building, like you said. And so they end up down in the slums essentially, and the marksman gets away because Wax is too distracted by Leslie's killer.
Yeah. Conjure? Or hallucination?
Or Bloody Tan.
I think it might be.
I think it might be too.
Remember what I said about the whole hemalurgy thing?
I think you might have called it real hard.
I think I might have just got it.
Yeah.
I think he might be like a inquisitor. Just without the eye sockets, you know?
Oh.
I think he's got that healing.
Is anyone who has hemalurgic powers now an inquisitor? Is that how that works?
No, I don't think he's called an inquisitor. It's just the word that we have.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying he's kind of probably similar is my guess.
But I do wonder if this society would just pick up and start using that word.
Maybe if it still exists.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh, like, they were called Inquisitors once upon a time.
But they call Marsh Death. They don't really call him an Inquisitor.
No, but like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't actually know if that word exists. That's a good point. I don't remember seeing it in this book so far.
I think they mentioned Inquisitors in the first books.
I don't actually think that they do. I could be wrong. Chat will let us know. I think
it was mentioned at one point when they were talking about history. I might be wrong, though. Colossus have spikes too, but are not Inquisitors. Yeah, but the Colossus spikes are internal, right? You can't see them.
It also feels like they, don't know anything about the Inquisitors and Hemalurgy. Like, the general populace. Right? The Hemalurgy book is...
Inquisitor's a government position. Yeah, that's true.
Right. It means something totally different.
I just wouldn't be surprised if this time period started to call hemalurgically spiked people Inquisitors, just sort of out of we don't have another word for it, and it was what they were called in the previous world.
If they know that's what they were called.
Yeah, I mean,
it does feel a little buried, you know.
Yeah, Wax will, because fucking. I do love that Marsh was like, "Hey, Marcy, can you give Wax Mistborn? It's a great book by Brandon Sanderson."
Yeah.
This world has a different binding process, so they were able to fit all 3 books into one book.
It's just a massive book.
It's the team that made Wind and Truth.
Good for them. You know what? Props to them. That book can kill somebody.
Landa brings up they have Words of Founding. I know they have Words of Founding, but it does seem like the Words of Founding deliberately leave things out,
Hemalurgy out.
Like, Hemalurgy's been left out. I think the Khandra seems to have been left out. The term ska seems to have been left out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they never use the term ska or nobles. There's no differentiation based on race that way. The Terrace kept their own race. And I do actually find it very weird that these races, that some races were kept and others were eschewed. I would love to understand the meaning behind that. But,
I mean, I don't know. Like, you mean like the ska?
Yeah, I find it very... It is so interesting to me in this time period that the ska and the nobles from the first series, that racial divide is gone. And it doesn't seem like the ska exists anymore.
I just don't really think that keeping the trait of, like, having babies easier is worth keeping. I think you just kind of mix it all into one.
But...
Because that's what it was beforehand, right?
I understand that. No, I do completely understand what you're saying with that. And I'm not saying that the way in which the Lord Ruler made certain people... I think what I'm saying is it's sad that they've lost their history. Right? Like, it's sad to me that their history is gone.
But their history was an invention of the Lord Ruler who tried to play God, and I don't know if it's worth honoring that. Like, genuinely, I don't know. Because he's the one who created that divide.
Yeah, but in the concept of, like, you know, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, right? Like, I do think that there is a value in them understanding what happened, and instead they have a very cherry-picked history of their own world that is what Sazed decided he wanted them to know. And I think that what's so fascinating about Sazed,
I think the problem is we actually do not know the full history that is common knowledge, and so I think it's actually tough to comment on that because we haven't read it. Like, just because they don't use the term ska nowadays doesn't mean that Sazed was hiding all of that. Right?
That's true. No, that's valid. But there are things that have been hidden from them, right?
The hemalurgy stuff seems to be, yeah.
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 And so, like...
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I think we need a little bit more knowledge and context. Just because, I couldn't tell you definitively what Sazed kept secret or not, because I just don't have...
Daniel Coster says, I've got some bad news for you about how all history works. I agree with you, right?
Which is why it's a problem.
The difference, I think, between our world and this world, though, is that Sazed got to choose
Sazed
what
seems
was
to be
kept.
a cool guy. And that doesn't mean that he's not prone to, like, mistakes, obviously. He was just a dude before he got god powers, you know?
But it does seem like a lot of the problems in the world are currently being, like, dealt with, right? Not dealt with, but they're dealing with.
The plot is dealing with.
Are that the nobles are mistreating the people under them again? And it does seem like, well, maybe we should have studied that history and seen how that led to bad things. And the same is true of real world, right?
3 books.
Yeah, no, and it that element of it probably is. I don't know. I just find the lack of ska. I find it very interesting, because it's so important that racial divide is so important in the First Era, and all of our superpowered people being these bastards of the nobles, right? Because you had to have that noble blood in order to have the powers. There is something just so fascinating about Sazed keeping his people's religious and racial separation alive, but not the other ones.
Well, because the Terrace people were distinctive before the Lord Ruler.
But so were the Ska and the nobles.
No. The Lord Ruler literally created the Ska and the nobles, like that divide.
No, he inflamed it.
No. That was like a literal Lord Ruler creation that he made, that the Ska were the slaves who were able to breed easier, and that the nobles were the people who could have the magic powers. Like, that was that's what I mean about the Lord Ruler created those things, and Sazed basically just undid what the Lord Ruler did. Which is why I'm like, I don't know if what the Lord Ruler did is worth honoring in history, because it was really fucked up. But the Terrace people existed before the Lord Ruler fucked around.
Interesting. I thought that the Ska... I thought that the nobles and the Ska were racially distinct, but not, like, a noble slave class prior to the Lord Ruler. So that's just me being wrong about it.
Yeah, so it is kind of weird, because
thank you. I'm actually glad we had this conversation, because that actually reframes it for me. If it was just a wiping away something the Lord Ruler did.
Yeah. He was like, maybe that wasn't a good idea, we're gonna...
And a lot of the people... in my head, the nobles were like a class of people, or were a race of people, and the Lord Ruler was like, well, I'm going to take this race of people and make them slaves. Because, like, that initial creation must have been so weird for people.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, the Lord Ruler...
Day one of the Lord Ruler taking over, you're like, what happened, actually?
Wait, what do you mean I'm a different race now?
Yeah. Well, because
you literally wake up one day and he's like, oh yeah, you're a slave race now. And you're like, no, that guy and I are the same.
It was literally the Lord Ruler was like, you guys all supported me, so you guys get to be rich, noble, magic power beings, and everyone who didn't support me, go fuck yourself.
Okay.
Right, so that's why I'm like, I think Sazed kind of just resetting that makes the most sense.
PT says, I thought nobles were just descendants of people who Lord Ruler gave Lerasium. Well, no, that can't be all of the nobles.
Yeah, he literally was like, the people who supported me get to have the magic powers and slaves.
Yeah, but that was only like 12 people.
I mean...
Right? Scuff Danny, thank you for 10 gifted memberships.
Scuff Andy, holy shit, thank you.
Like, some people had to be a part of the noble
yeah.
race. Genuine. So many memberships. You guys are amazing. We're going to have so many...
We're going to have so many friends who can watch the audiobook reactions. Let's fucking go.
I love... We need to stop talking about this. Not because it's not interesting. I actually find this very interesting. But we're trying to remember background details from the first books that I don't think are actually relevant anymore.
Well, no, I think it is an important conversation to have. Because, yeah, it was literally like the buddies of the Lord Ruler who got to be nobles.
Yeah, but it can't have been...
That's why they're all descended from the same families.
But it can't have been all... There had to be other people that were nobles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so day one would have been really weird. Like real fucking weird.
These 12 people are nobles and the rest of you are all Ska. But then how did they end up with so many nobles?
1,000 years of... sex.
But they would have to be fucking the ska. Like, they would all be part ska. Like, everyone would be part ska at that point.
I feel
there
like
would
the
be
Lord
no
Ruler
separation.
I feel like the Lord Ruler probably removed inbreeding problems.
But no, but I'm literally saying 12 people. Who are they fucking?
Each other.
Like, at a certain point, when the ska are everybody else and the nobles are 12 people, those noble bloodlines are going to be so infused with ska blood that the difference between nobles and ska, and because there's a literal difference between them. It's not just a racial difference, but there's like a magical like
that's why
breeding
there were
thing.
So many elements.
1,000 years later, everyone would breed like ska.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it was 1,000 years later. That's why it got so fucked. The Lord Ruler thought he had a brilliant idea of keeping the magic powers in like a group of like 20 people or whatever it was. He had a big group who took him up the mountain. Like, it could have been maybe up to like 50. I don't know if it's ever actually explicitly said. But
am I going 12 because of Jesus? That might be it.
Yeah. It was the group that took him up the mountain. So it could be, I would say, maximum.
Steve Zito and I are on the same boat here. Didn't the Lord Ruler make his culture the nobles, just made the 12 Allomancers? That's what I thought happened. Which is why I thought the ska were a separate culture from the people the Lord Ruler made the nobles. That's Steve Zito and I are
No, the Lord Ruler is a terraceman. Remember? That's why he has the powers he has. And the terraceman, he decided to fucking castrate.
No, that's right.
And stop them so that no one else could be what he was, which was a hybrid.
Yeah, the terrace people who were with him became the Khandra. Then the Foxtrot says ska were made shorter and more fertile, nobles taller, less fertile, and with more power. Yes, they were. But if there were only 12 of them and it was 1,000 years ago, it was
the 12 people that became Khandras is where you're pulling the 12 number from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I know, I feel like I'm pulling this from something.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, those people became Khandra.
What I'm saying is that the people, the number of people he created to be nobles, in order for that bloodline to have not become mostly ska by modern times, would have had to have been a fairly large number of people. Right?
Yeah, he took a whole pack group.
No, it would have to be a significant amount of people. Otherwise, they would just end up fucking the ska, and then they would all have all the ska traits.
Well, but that's why that it is so diluted. Like, literally, like...
But it isn't.
Nobody has pure blood anymore.
Sure, not 100% pure, but there are still, like, the fertility thing, which is so weird, but it would have been bred out of that society very fast if the nobles were, like, 50 people.
I don't know. That's...
Anyway, not the point at all. Linus Vikstrom and I agree. The nobles were some part of the population. They were made different. Okay.
Yeah.
We've gotten back to somewhat close to what I originally thought, but not 100% in that they weren't. Like,
there were no ska before
basically
the Lord
what
Ruler.
I thought happened was, like, the Lord Ruler did his shit, and then he made Canada the ska and the U.S. There's not a lot of difference in Canada and the U.S., right? Like, we have ketchup chips. They have preservatives in fucking everything they eat.
You're not wrong.
And so I thought it was more that kind of a divide.
No, yeah.
But whatever.
No, I hear you. Yeah,
I'm so glad we spent the last 20 minutes figuring out what happened in the last series we read.
It's fine. It's all Mistborn. It all comes together. It's chapter 3, and our heroes head into the slums to chase marksmen.
Yeah.
Wax and Marcy are doing a very bad job because they're like, "Hey, where'd this motherfucker go?" And nobody wants to be a rat.
Yeah, that Wax and Marcy are essentially walking around being like, "Whoop whoop, this is the police."
Yeah, and Wayne is like, these motherfucking idiots.
Yeah. So Wayne sits down and he starts to Wax is trying to throw around money, like straight cash money, but these slums treat people from the slums as their own. You know what I mean? And so they're not gonna fucking rat him out. And so Wayne sits down and starts talking to this guy, and this guy, this random guy starts berating him for... He gets a hat and an accent, and then he's having a conversation with this guy, and this guy's like, you're not going to go to the police.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's a lot of money. And he's like, no.
We don't do that
Sit
shit.
down. And Wayne's like, all right, I'm just going to go home then. The guy's like,
that
no,
guy,
you're going to sit here.
They were like, but that guy killed a kid. And he's like, nah, that's fucking propaganda. Illuminati shit. They're lying.
DEI.
Yeah.
It was a DEI hire.
Oh my God. I was like, oh wow, we're doing that. All right. Cool. Yeah, and so Wayne is able to wait it out and then follow the dude to where the marksman is bleeding and injured. That's how they were able to follow him. He was leaving a blood trail because the haste killer round actually, hit its mark.
Yeah.
He is able to speed bubble, grab the criminal, knock him out, and haul him back to Wax and Maracy. Because Wayne is actually great at his job.
Yeah, it is so tough, right? Because on the one hand, I'm going to shit on Wayne soon. But on the other hand, this scene did such a good job of establishing why Wayne is good at this.
He's a very complicated character.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It really does. And in this next section with Wax and Maracy, where they find Wayne, and Wax reveals that he knew the whole time they were doing a terrible job. And he was just trusting in Wayne that he was going to do it. I really loved the way Brandon Sanderson used that to show the relationship between Wax and Wayne.
They've done this before.
Yeah, and that Wax... One thing that I think that a lot of authors really struggle with is their main character, their self-insert character, particularly when it feels like that, not being good at something. And I wish that more authors understood that having your character acknowledge the thing they're not good at actually makes them seem smarter.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to write a really smart character in a novel, having them be aware of the things they are not good at and lean on people for those things makes them seem more intelligent than if you just make them kind of good at everything, because that becomes boring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Wax in this moment being like, oh, we were never going to fucking do this. This is why I trust Wayne.
Yeah.
Makes Wax seem like a more intelligent character.
Because we actually didn't get a lot of Wax in the first book being, like, particularly bad at anything, right?
No.
Wax shows up, he's, like, 40 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he is a fully grown adult man who is good at what he does.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun, I think, and a really interesting way to play around with that in this book of, like, there's things that he's bad at. And we saw his beginnings.
Yeah.
He wasn't always good. He knows where his strengths and his weaknesses are. Like, I think that this book is doing a really interesting job of reframing Wax as a character without undercutting him, right? Without taking away his accomplishments in the first book. Because I sometimes find when series go on and they're like, we have a character that is really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Shit, we kind of need them to not be good at everything, actually, because we need somewhere for the series to go. Sometimes dismantling that character and undercutting them feels cheap. Because it feels like, oh shit, I made them too good at everything and now I have to kind of completely undo what I set up in the first book. This does feel like that, but in a very intentional way that doesn't actually change who he is as a character.
Yeah.
It reinforces what we already know about him and reframes him in, especially in, like, Wayne's, like, POV of, like, Wayne knows what he's good at. He knows where to pick up the slack, right?
And I think that it is something that Brandon Sanderson is particularly good at in these longer series.
Yeah. Is
not dropping the ball on the, like, arc of these characters' abilities and strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
In Mistborn Era 1, the way the characters grew really made sense. Yeah. In Stormlight so far, I feel like the arcs for each of our main characters in particular have gotten better each arc without really, like, randomly taking steps back for plot reasons.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson doesn't ask characters to hold the stupid ball for the plot to move forward, and I really appreciate it.
That is very refreshing.
Yeah.
Just want to say Hello, Dice Cream in the chat.
Hey, what's up, Dice
We
Cream?
appreciate you.
Did you just dab in my chat, Dice Cream?
Hell
Did
yeah.
you come in here and dab?
Hell yeah. Let's fucking go.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
We will be in touch about things and stuff.
Things and stuff.
Things.
Anyways, if you like D&D content, go follow Dice Cream Sanders.
Yeah, very talented content creator. And
Anyways.
played a very cool robot on
Heroes Without Borders.
Heroes Without Borders.
Yeah, good times.
Let's not discuss One Piece. I can't believe spoilers for that series. Yes. Guys, I appreciate One Piece. I love One Piece.
for the Cosmere.
For the Cosmere. Umek, thank you for joining the Nerds Radiant.
Thank
Just
you.
an appreciation message. Got my first paycheck today. Let's go. And this book club really helped me go through some very hard times. Thank you very much. Oh,
We got you.
we got you.
Oh,
I'm sorry that you had hard times, but I'm so happy that we could be here for you. And I'm sorry if my being me ever made that hard.
It's you're wonderfully flawed like a real human being and like a Brandon Sanderson character. You know what I mean?
I am flawed like a Brandon Sanderson character.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all just living in the world that Brandon Sanderson has created for us? Thank you.
Nope.
No.
No, we're definitely not doing that.
Wayne, seriously, thank you. I'm so excited that you got your first paycheck. That's
Let's
incredible.
go.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's be real. No one wants to live in a Brandon Sanderson world, right?
I would live in
Which
Emperor's Soul. It sounds fun.
What do you mean?
Uh,
What part of Emperor's Soul would be fun?
We only really got to see one room, so I'm just assuming that it's fun
Yeah,
outside.
that she was kept in against her will.
She's a criminal. She was put in jail.
So you want to be in a prison cell?
No, I'm just
You-
saying outside of
Can
that
I-
room
can I be
probably
real honest
feels
with you?
real nice.
If you want to be in a prison cell, we actually can make that happen.
Why?
What do you mean? What do you mean why? We could.
I guess I could go commit crimes.
Yeah. If you really want to be in a prison cell, it's not that hard to do.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly have no desire. I just mean like outside of the room probably seems pretty cool.
Dice Cream Savage says, if they made a graphic novel series like they did with the Drizzt books, then I can finally catch up with all the Cosmere business. I'm horrible with reading. Can you imagine a graphic novel of Stormlight?
It would be
It would be...
so large.
It would have to be done in, like, omnibus style. And, like, Way of Kings would be, like, 12 omnibuses.
Yeah, literally.
Omnibusi?
Practically incarnate.
Omnibuses?
Or no, father. Wait, sorry. SeaWorld is Elantris. I would not live on Elantris because the king is in the sewers murdering women. Spoilers.
And people are teleporting across a lake to fucking, like, fuck you up?
Yeah, they've got those weird torture churches.
There's an earthquake, and all of the most powerful people in your society, all of your healers, suddenly are dying and their skin's
Omnibussy.
flaking off.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, we could not pay me to live in the world of Elantris. Honestly,
Stormlight's a nightmare.
the nicest one, kind of, that seems like decently okay, would maybe be Warbreaker. But if you're a little kid and you get your breath taken away, like you're kind of, if you become a drab, you're kind of fucked.
Or if you're just like one of the indigenous people and you have to work for the gods of this other culture that like fucking colonized you.
But if you're one of the gods, life's pretty good.
That's pretty.
Actually, no, I'd be real bored. I
Mhm.
would be so fucking bored. I actually could not handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we are in the middle.
Landis says I would live on Roshar just for the regrowth. Honestly, there is an evil god trying to bring an ancient race. We shouldn't actually spoil.
We don't need to talk about it. You know why.
There's an
what you
evil
said
god.
Is wrong. You know what you did. Go on timeout.
There's an evil god that wants to kill you on Roshar.
Yeah.
Shin doesn't sound too bad. Honestly, yeah, Karen. If I could, and look, I'm white. I'd be in Shin. I guess it wouldn't be that bad. I'd be a farmer. I grew up farming.
Sure.
I liked it. It was fun.
I would be naked on the Reshi Isles. That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah.
Living on a giant turtle.
Oh, fuck. Let's go live on a giant turtle.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Just don't fall off of it.
Where were we in this book? Wayne is eating apples.
Wayne gets
He's got
the bad
marks.
guy. Wayne gets the bad guy.
We cut back to Marassi. And Marassi and Wax are like, fuck, man, like we're shit in the bed here.
Yeah.
And then they turn they like look at the staircase and Wayne is sitting there. with a bundle at his feet, just eating an apple. And Marcy's like, "Where the fuck were you? This is serious government business, Wayne. I'm sick of your shit. Mark's got away, and you know what, Wayne? Mark's got away, and it's your fucking fault.
Wayne
you
is like,
fucking piece of shit."
He's right here. I got him.
Wait, am I bad at this?
Marcy's good at some things. But, going to try and get the population in the slums to rat on a killer, she's not good at that.
Yeah.
Sorry, girl. That's fine.
And honestly, like, no cops are good at that.
She's good at statistics.
Yeah, she's really good. She understands this.
Yeah, that's a word.
Statistics.
There we go. We got there.
Sexy.
We both had an issue with that. I don't know why.
Statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, God. Statistics.
Sexual.
What a word.
Yeah, it is.
Statistics.
It's a great word, actually.
Statistics. Nope.
Anyways.
Guys, you know what I love? Dyslexia. Her girl math is unparalleled.
That is true, actually. Facts. Straight fucking
My girl math
facts.
is unparalleled might be a shirt.
I'm going to put girl math as a skill on my resume.
I don't think that that's something you're good at.
Oh.
I
justify purchases all the time.
I know, but your justification is always, I can write that off.
Yeah.
Which is why we're being audited.
Yeah. But it's still a valid reason. I don't see what the problem is here. Anyways, I'm gonna go pee.
All right, goodbye. And so Marcy is in the middle of being embarrassed about the fact that she was just laying into Wayne when he actually accomplished what they needed to accomplish. When out of nowhere, crossbow bolt right to the head. That's right, Marks has been murdered. And Wax takes off. He's like, I'm going to go find out who killed Marks just now. And Marcy is like, oh shit, you know what? That assassin's definitely going to like circle around, make sure that we killed that motherfucker. And as she has that thought, the assassin does exactly fucking that. And suddenly, there's an obsidian dagger at her throat. It's bad. Wax is there. Wax is like, oh my fucking God. Every time I'm pointing a gun at a bad guy, they're holding a woman who I have some kind of feelings for that I don't want to acknowledge. With Leslie, he did want to acknowledge it. With Marcy, he's trying really hard not to be attracted to her. He's trying so hard to not be attracted to her.
He's doing good work. Okay.
And yeah, Marks has been murked. And so instead, Marcy is like, all right, what's my training? Talk
Punch
calm.
him in the face.
No.
Back.
Her training is talk calm. Keep things civil. Don't get things too amped. But she doesn't follow her training. She reaches into her purse, pulls out a gun, bam, and shoots the guy in the head.
She's like, nah, fuck this.
Marcy's such a boss.
Yeah.
She's like, fuck talking
She's
calm.
like, ow, my ear.
I'm not going to interrogate this motherfucker. I'm going to blow his goddamn brains out.
Yeah.
Pow.
Started blasting.
You know what? She started blasting. And I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool moment for Marcy.
Oh, no, it was great.
And it meant that fucking Wax didn't have to shoot near a woman that he cares for.
Yeah.
Which has historically not gone well. Yeah.
Yeah. The one time in history that we know of.
So Marcy is deafened on the one side. As Constable Reddy shows up. I think Constable Reddy is going to be important to this book.
Yeah. He's the one who replaced the other constable that suddenly got real nice. At the end of book one, you know what I mean? And we were like, that's super sus. I don't know about him.
And Constable Reddy's like, Marcy, why are you always here? You're not supposed to be here. Why are you always here? And she's like, it just happened, man. It's so weird.
I was just driving a car.
I just happened to be nearby. And they're like, yeah, sure. Yeah, fucking Wax, stop bringing this young girl to your crime scenes. But Reddy is like, I don't have time to deal with this because Wax, the governor's brother's dead.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. So Wax is like gonna go see the body, wants to go see the crime scene.
Yeah.
Because it feels very sus. So they head over.
Yeah.
Wax is like, wow, a bunch of these people that are dead were like criminals.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that came out of nowhere. So sorry.
Your sneeze?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It took me by surprise. There was no lead up to that one.
And so the implications of the people who are dead at the Winston Manor is devastating for the city, right?
The implications.
This is where we start to find out that the city is really not doing well. And that there are a number of financial and economic problems that are hitting the city.
Yep.
The tone of this book starts to really take shape here.
Yeah.
As we pair both the understanding of kind of the emotions that are broiling underneath the general population of Arendelle at the same time.
Arendelle.
Ellendale. Sorry.
I only just made that connection.
What?
Arendelle and Ellendale.
Yeah, I know. They're
Did
so
not.
fucking close.
Well, and then the constable is Aradel. That's rude. That's fucking rude.
Do you want to build a snowman?
No.
That's fair. And so, but pairing the, like, setting the tone of what's going on in the city against Wax investigating the crime scene, and kind of making, having Wayne and Marcy have these little bits of conversation while Wax is doing his little Sherlock Holmesy bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's in this chapter as well, but there is, like, a mention that, like, Seiza didn't want there to be slums, like, didn't want there to be these, like, divides in the city, and things have just kind of, unfortunately, fallen into disarray in a way that they don't know how to deal with.
I mean, like, it's tough, right? Because on the one hand...
The Industrial Revolution is here.
On the one hand, I understand the idea that you don't want slums to exist.
Yeah.
But on the other, like, I don't know...
I don't know how you do that.
Communism.
Right.
But...
How do you do that with free will?
Yeah. It's the thing that we've struggled with in human society since the beginning of time, right? Like, yeah. I don't think that any society has ever gotten it 100% right.
No.
I think that early societies just had less people and stuff to deal with. Sure. So it was easier.
Yeah. And the divide wasn't so vast because we didn't have the luxuries that we have today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and but even without the luxuries, even just on a basic level, the idea that you're going to completely get rid of any sort of class distinction at all, I think is, and maybe we'll figure it out in the future. I think it's so far from where we are now.
Yeah, it's why every time you read a utopia story,
it's always corrupt. There's no utopia story. Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Like, no one has been able to figure that out, and that sucks.
Part of the problem with utopia stories is that there inherently is no conflict. Yeah. And so there's no real story to it.
Right.
Like, things are great and everyone's happy. Is like, okay, the end. Like, the beginning is the end.
Unfortunately, the conflict is that there will always be shitty people.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Like, that's not something that we can just, like, fix, right? And it's what in a weird way makes, like, the future so bleak sometimes. Is because you're like, well, the people that exploit others and that maybe are not good people are the ones that are doing well. And that, like, that drives people to embrace the worst sides of themselves. Mm-hmm.
No, that's a really good point.
And it's a problem that we don't know how to fix.
Well, it gets into the problem of the people who are willing to exploit the loopholes are to have more. Yeah. Are inherently going to be less moral than the people who want to
do things right.
Who are maybe even able to acknowledge the loopholes but don't want to use them to get one over on other people. Yeah. Right? And so you do end up in the problem of you just can't get rid of greed at the end of the day, right? Like, greed is...
The wanting is such a human emotion and a failing, but in a weird way it has allowed us to progress in the way that we have, so...
Yeah, it's the double-edged sword of humanity.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and I think that there is a part of me that's disappointed in Sazed for how things have ended up here, but at the same time, why would I read a book if he was perfect? If there was a perfect god that kept things from going off the rails at all, there wouldn't be a book, right?
Yeah.
So at the same time, like, I'm like, oh man, Sazed's kind of fucked up, but also like that there's a novel because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't solve for every problem. You can just kind of do your best.
Carry-On says, I guess that's the bright side of our current time. At least we don't have to look very hard for all the massive problems.
They are right in front of our faces. That is true. On Twitter. Just right there at all times.
Yeah. And Bryce says, is quoting here, I don't know what the quote's from, but I've heard it before. And so the children of the revolution were faced with the age-old problem. It wasn't that you had the wrong kind of government, which was obvious, but that you had the wrong kind of people. And there it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are in the investigation of the crime scene, and we realized pretty fast as a team. I picked up on this really quickly, obviously, because I'm very smart. Very smart man. That we're dealing with a steel runner, which basically means they're moving
super fast.
Fast as fuck, boy.
We've got the Flash.
Yeah.
In Mistborn Era 2.
Yeah. And so the way that we kind of figure this out is it does seem like a single person was shooting, but they were shooting kind of weirdly from different places very quickly.
Well, and then it started other people shooting other people and created like a chaos in the room.
And that's the thing that they ultimately come to realize is that the reason why this person was bouncing around the room in such an odd way wasn't actually about the way in which they were killing people. They were deliberately trying to inflame combat between the people in the room so they didn't have to kill everyone individually by themselves.
And then, it's a bunch of criminals all
Good
together,
fucking plan.
so they were already ready to shoot each other.
Now, the interesting thing about it being a steel runner is
There's not many of them.
Well, and they have to be terrorists.
Right.
This does imply that someone who is related to the terrorists is involved in the situation.
Yeah.
We also find the safe room, and they find Lord Winsing and his guards dead there. So we have a problem. Someone can move real quick, and they can kill, and have killed. What are we gonna do about it?
Chapter 5.
Wayne, is about to have a really bad day.
He's already feeling sick because he's trying to store up some healing.
Because wait, I loved this. He's like, oh, fuck, I need to get sick because I know I'm gonna need it soon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pee.
He's like, I need to make sure that I have some healing power saved up. So I'm just gonna, be a little sicky boy for the moment. Wax has kind of been staying up all night, trying to analyze the crime scene. He's that guy with the fucking corkboard and all the red little strings that attach to one another all over the place. He thinks it's a steel runner, obviously, with the way that people were shot and the chaos that ensued, etc., etc. Excuse me. Wax is like, hey, Wayne, I'm gonna need you to go to the village to investigate. Which I was like, what the fuck is the village? The village is where the terrorist people are. Great, love that. But Wayne is like, nah, Goncho. Can't be doing that, actually. It is the first day of the month. And Wax is like, oh, yeah, right. Good luck with that, bro. Have fun. I'm so sorry. And we'll see you later.
This, though?
Yeah.
We gotta talk about this. This implies
that Wax knows.
that Wax knows what Wayne is up to.
Yep, 100%.
And it's important that we acknowledge that Wax knows what Wayne is up to before we get to it, because it's going to be important later.
Yeah. Mercy's just getting paper, She's noticing the unemployment rates.
Well, and specifically she's picking up the afternoon broadsheets.
Right.
So that she can compare.
Yeah.
The reason why she's doing this is she wants to compare the difference between how the reporters
Press.
were covering the
The
story
shooting.
in the afternoon versus how they covered it in the morning paper.
Yes.
Remember when there were 2 printings of a paper in the same day?
No, I was not alive.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Um,
Maricy's a little bit worried about the state of the city based on what she sees and what she reads.
mm-hmm.
Wax heads to the village. And there are, like, terrace guards there. And they're like, get the fuck out of there. And his grandma shows up and is like, nah, let him in. He's one of us.
Yeah, I this was interesting to me because it seems like he's been there before.
Oh, yeah, he lived there, remember, for a whole year.
But sure, but I mean, like, as an adult since he came back. He's been there, like, 2 or 3 times. And so they should... Yeah, him not being allowed there because he's a cop thing felt weird once it was kind of like, oh, you've only visited me twice. I'm like, does every time he show up to go see his grandma, they're like, hey... and maybe not all the terrorists know who he is, that he's terrorist.
Different guards.
But given how many like ferrochemists like Wayne, like there are a number of ferrochemists outside of the society, Miles. Mm-hmm. It's odd to me the terrorists being so exclusionary was a little bit strange to me here. It was very aggressive. And it feels kind of antithetical to what I think of the terrorists. And so I like, what does that say about what they've become? That they're so aggressively insular? It reminded me,
they're scared of another Lord Ruler.
Sure. I think that I found it slightly off-putting. It reminded me of the like Orthodox Jewish community in Brooklyn. There's a place in Brooklyn where like the street signs are in Yiddish. And the people there are all very Orthodox and will straight up not talk to you. Like, I remember I got lost and I was there and I was like literally like trying to talk to people to be like, hey, I just needed like, my phone was dead. I was lost. I was like, what direction is this? And they would straight up just like ignore me.
Yeah.
Which like, I don't get. I was gonna say I get, but I don't. I found it to be very strange, which is the kinder way to say it, and this just kind of had that same sort of off-putting, like, well, what is the purpose of being like this? How does this help the terrorist people, right? And I often find that sort of religious insulation becomes off-putting in a way that causes more problems than it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonathan Neal says, I see them kind of like Native Americans. The area they are is their reservation. Sure, I guess why would the terrorists want to limit themselves to that post? I guess what in the words of founding has led the terrorists to believe that this is how they should live their lives is the question that I don't really understand. Like, what did Sazed leave them? Sazed being the last of the terrorist keepers who was so comfortable among other cultures and made being around other people such a huge part of his life. What did he leave them in the words of founding that has led them to become so cut off? Is I guess the question that I feel the book hasn't yet answered, and they probably will, right? Arthur says they would likely not listen to Sazed even as a god. I'm not talking about him as a god, though, right? Like, there would have... I feel like the words of founding would have some message from the past terrorists.
Maybe. I mean, it's so tough because, like, they kind of see themselves as being so close to... They were so close to extinction.
Yeah.
And yeah. I think that it is that fear and the fear of creating another Lord Ruler, which, like, can't happen. We know, obviously, because no one's a Mistborn anymore. Like, they can't use all the powers. But I think that fear is strong enough and, like, what it meant for their people. Like, this guy literally castrated their entire population. So...
Sure, but they're clearly failing at that. Like, it's
at what?
preventing a new Lord Ruler.
Ready? Well,
like Miles, Wax, Wayne, like the number of Twinborn we've already met implies that like
out of a population of millions,
the method that they're going about stopping Twinborn from being born is clearly not working. If your goal is for these people don't exist,
all the main characters have superpowers.
Right, but the fact that they exist at all means that it isn't working. Right? Like,
well, it's never going to work 100%. Like, that's just... they cannot isolate themselves completely from the world. There's no way for them to do that.
Sure, but I think that in my mind, right, if you're worried about people getting superpowers and then going evil, and the people that do get superpowers you're hyper exclusionary towards, and you basically make them feel like they're not wanted...
Oh, no, they're not. It's only Wax. His grandmother wants, like, it is... shitty towards him. They're not shitty towards Wayne.
His grandmother's not. It's the rest of the people.
Well, they didn't know that he was a terrorist man. But, like, they talk about literally that Wayne shows up and they all like Wayne.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing with Wax because Wax is the son, well, the grandson of a very prevalent person within the terrorist culture and society who clearly wanted Wax to take, to kind of take part in their customs, in their world, and in their lives, and has chosen to distance himself.
Yeah.
Because of the way he was treated. Like, like, there are reasons for that. But
his grandmother's tough.
Yeah, it's complicated.
She's like, why can't you be different? And or she's like, I promise I'm not going to be like you're worried I am always. And then she's immediately fucking difficult with him. And you're like...
Wax, like, kills people. And the terrorists are very... What do you call it? They're pacifists in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, they try and deal with things with killing as, like, a very, very, very last resort, which I think is very admirable. But whether or not it works is entirely up for debate. He's there as a cop.
Yeah.
He's there as someone who is a violent person.
Yeah.
That is off-putting to the community.
But he's also there because someone is using the superpowers of their people to commit violent crimes.
Which I think is why his grandmother is cooperative.
And in the last book, we read him stopping a violent terrorist criminal from committing violent crimes. It is the tough thing about, like, we're anti-violence. One of our people is being incredibly violent and you stopped them. But so like, in a way, Wax stopping Miles from doing massive levels of violence is more anti-violent than being non-violent.
Yeah,
non-violence is, in many ways, just...
I just don't think it's about him. Wax has killed
so
many people.
Sure, but again, right? Like, that is such a difficult argument to make, in my opinion, because Miles also was going to kill a lot more people because he had terrorist superpowers. And so the idea that, like, we're non-violent and so we don't like that you stopped when one of our people was being hyper-violent.
I don't know why. I'm not sure why you're fixating on Miles. He has killed many, many people. I don't think that they're upset about Miles. I don't think anyone brings up that you, like, used violence to stop Miles in particular.
But it's the judgment of judging Wax's use of violence, given the context of it, is what I think is immature. And part of it is that their society was wiped out, right? So they are in many ways a juvenile society.
But it is kind of like his grandmother brings up the argument that is very prevalent in, like, our day and age in society. Like, at what point is violent force acceptable? And Wax says, if someone has a gun pointed at me, like, I will shoot them.
Which I agree with.
But there are people in our day and age in society that would say, like, that is not good enough. Like, you need to have...
And those people have never had a gun pointed at them.
Sure. I'm not saying who is wrong or who is right, but that is...
Sure, but I'm saying who's wrong and who's right. And if you're saying that, like, like, I'm sorry, but if your argument is that, like, you should be nonviolent even in a violent scenario in self-defense, I think that is insane. Like, I think that is
But if you have superpowers,
way
like
in which
Captain
you're
America,
going to get taken advantage of. Yeah.
You know, if you have superpowers and you can, like, I think that his grandmother wanting him to try and be nonviolent for as long as possible and as much as possible, because he is special boy with special powers, isn't the most unreasonable ask. I think that it is tough in this society because Wax does seem to interact with a lot of people who also have these superpowers. But, you know, it's like it's like with superheroes who have superpowers and are very clearly, like, abusive to, like, your regular everyday citizens, where you're like, okay, bro, we don't need to, like, go that far. Like,
Batman.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have superpowers, but he's got all the tech that basically, like, gives him superpowers.
You know, it's the joke of, like, Batman goes into, like, low-income neighborhoods and beats the shit out of regular people. It's between him and, like, Superman, who's like, I'm gonna go fight Brainiac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, while I don't, like, wholeheartedly agree with his grandmother, like, I do think that there's points on either side, and I do think that there was clearly something that happened when Wax lived there that we don't know about yet.
Well, and I think that, yeah, we will get there.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got off on this tangent. What I felt was weird was that when he showed up, they were like, oh, Wax, we know who you are.
Yeah, they didn't know who he was.
He feels like he should be a fairly famous person.
He's only ever been there twice since he lived there, I think.
Sure, but he also stopped Miles. Like, it feels like the Terrors should be really up on that.
But why would they, like, know that the guy who stopped Miles is a Terraceman?
Because he's like famously a twin board.
But they are isolationists. Like, I don't know. I don't think they really know much of the outside.
But that's where, like, the divide gets weird. That was the original point I was trying to make, more so than a, like, conversation about violence.
Yeah.
If they are isolationists, but they also, like, this battle between two Terrace superheroes happened a year ago. It seems like that should be news that, like, these people would be hyper aware of.
I don't know.
Particularly because there were ferrochemical powers on both sides of that conflict, and people are aware of that.
If you told me there was a famous FBI agent named Edwards, and they took down, like, a criminal cell, I'd be like, sure, yeah, I don't know what they look like.
But this isn't that. This is like, yeah.
They don't even have the internet. Who's drawing portraits? Like, you think Wax is sitting for portraits? Oh, he is for the wedding.
Yeah.
He is gonna have to get a portrait for the wedding.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not really complete. This didn't matter at all. Sorry, this was such a random tangent.
No, it's fine.
I found this to be very,
their society being isolationist, but in the middle of the city is, like, a strange concept.
It's strange, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's only made more strange to me because all of our main characters are related to these people.
Yeah.
Like, all of them. And that to me is why I'm like, oh, it's just odd to me that I guess Mercy only has allomantic powers. But, like, all of our good guys and bad guys so far have been related to these people. Yeah. And so them being isolationist to prevent Twinborn from existing, but these Twinborn keep existing, is just a very, like, clearly your methods aren't working. If you have a stated goal, it's not going well.
Yeah, but there's millions of people.
Are there? I don't think there's millions of people.
There's 1 million people in the city.
Okay.
So, when you add up all the roughs, like, in the surrounding area, I mean.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to know what the world is like, because we've spent so much time. One thing about Era 2 that I have no concept of is where things are. Like, I understand the roughs exist, and I understand Ellendale exists. I don't know where either of those things are, or, like, there might be a map in the book that I just haven't looked at yet. I can't visualize what the world looks like anymore, because I understood the map of Era 1, and I don't. Yeah. Maybe there is a map for Era 2
there is. Yeah. I don't know if it's in.
Oh, it might be this page. Yeah, I've
No,
sin this. I've seen the
that's
city map.
So here's Ellendale. There's the city. This is the basin where they kind of like. So there's weathering. This is the rough around it. It's not really that large.
Yeah. So it seems like this is a map of like San Francisco. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in terms of like how big like the planet is, or how big their like continent is, it seems relatively small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I was trying to figure something out in that tangent. I don't know that I got there.
No, I think people knew what you're trying to get at. Like it is a weird concept.
Yeah, but even Karen's like, I don't really get this complaint, and I understand why you don't get it because I don't really get what I'm trying to say either. I'm trying to work through how I'm feeling about it.
I think it's like if Wax had showed up and like, hi, I am Waxilium Ladrian.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like, oh, you're that guy. Okay, come on in. But he shows up as a cop.
Yeah,
who
that's
does,
true.
You know, we don't really have pictures and art of people's faces, so them not recognizing him immediately, like, makes sense to me. Wax is not very forthcoming with them. He just tries to waltz on in.
It's a good point. I also like one of the things that I hope we get into is why the Terrace became like this. Just because the Terrace who survived the last empire were the Terrace that were more exploratory, right? Like the Terrace that were very isolationist all died. And it's the Terrace that like were living out in the world that were the ones that lived.
And then maybe they were like, oh shit, that really fucked us up.
Oh yeah, that might be it.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're shaking the camera with your foot there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Very interesting.
We can talk about the rest of Wax's stuff. He is and then we'll talk about Wayne after.
Sure.
He talks with his grandma. He's like, hey, I'm looking for a steel runner. You know, you keep tabs on people who obviously, like, step outside the village and have relations. So...
Oh no,
what
Carrie,
are we...
I want to... No, chat's right. It wasn't the people that were out in the world. They left Terrace when the keepers were all killed.
Oh.
But the rest of the Terrace fled the
right.
Inquisitors. No, you guys are right. I'm right. Remembering that wrong. It was that the Terrace... So they were all refugees. So that's... Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
That feels so long ago.
It feels so long ago. I know.
Yeah. So his grandmother is like, hey... It could really only be this person. I think this is the best I got for you. Please be kind. She's confused. Yeah. I don't know why she would be killing people. This doesn't seem like her. Please bring her back to us. So that's kind of Wax in this chapter. Yeah. We get to Wayne. Wayne goes over to the university. And there's 2 guards in front of the university who he knows he has to avoid because he's not supposed to be there. So he goes and talks to a street gang leader to help him make a distraction so that he can break into the school.
Specifically, the young girls' dorm.
Yeah, he's trying to break into the girls' dormitory.
Yeah, so that he can give money to the daughter of the guy he killed when he was 16.
Yeah. And the lady who's guarding the dorm is like, okay, I'll take your bribe. I want tickets to this party. Yeah, go and talk to this child. 18-year-old child. Oh, and he's drunk.
I think that we're supposed to think that it is funny. The way that he gets in.
It was funny at first until we realized where this was going, and then it felt weird. Which is...
James Ross says, Panty Raid. Oh, wait, wrong series. But it does kind of have that vibe, except that it's creepy.
Grown man breaks into girls' dormitory.
Like, and this is where I wanted to put a pin in, like, Wax knew that he was doing this.
Wax knows that he's going to see her. Wax might not know that Wayne is barred from the building.
I know. I just feel like some part of... Somebody should be like, Wayne, don't do this. It's funny enough fucked up at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny at first, and then you're like,
I felt like I was
wait a
pretty
minute.
pro Wayne in book 1.
I think so, yeah.
Like, I liked him. I thought he was funny. I'm someone who I think enjoyed Wayne. I understand why people don't find him funny. I understand why it doesn't work for people.
Yeah.
But this is really fucked up.
Yeah, and I think it's treated like it is really fucked up.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Wayne is not framed as like a good guy here. It's very uncomfortable.
Sure. The bribery moment is what it makes it extra weird.
Well, yeah, but that she's just like, oh yeah, give me tickets for this fucking, yeah, go to, yeah, no, she's very clearly not good at her job, and I think that is supposed to reflect the state of the city.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Like it is easy to get what you want because people are selfish, and this woman put her needs above the well-being of her students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the way in which Wayne is trying to find redemption by essentially torturing this girl is kind of vile. Like, it is so incredibly off-putting to me because it is so selfish. And...
Wait, selfish? Here's the thing. It feels like this weird self-inflicted punishment.
But it is for him. It is putting
it's making her participate in his like self-flagellation.
Which is what is incredibly selfish about it.
Sure.
And that to me, he has traumatized this girl by taking her father from him, and then reminds her on the first of the month, every month,
yes,
that this happened because he wants to feel bad about it. It is not about... He is saying that it's about her.
Yes.
And it isn't about her at all.
However, she came down to see him. You're correct. And also, she showed up to hurt him.
That's not fair at all. She came down because she knew that if she didn't, he would come up. And so she brought a friend, and she met him in the safer place to do it.
I don't know about that. I don't think
there is no evidence to me that Wayne would have stopped at this room. He already hired a street gang to get the guards off of his ass so that he could get here. The guards that she asked to stop him.
Unfortunately, that seems open up to interpretation.
No, they've said that because of previous months, they've laid guards to stop him from doing this.
Yeah,
this girl has asked for this to
area,
stop.
not to go see her in her room.
But this girl has asked for this to stop and has asked for security to be put in place to stop this from happening. She has said that she does not consent to him appearing. He got past the guards. And so she came down to meet him here because if he didn't stop at any of the other points where she has asked him to stop, there's no guarantee that he's not coming up to her room. And there's no reason for her to believe that he's not going to come up to her room. What possible reason would she have to believe that he's going to stop here? I don't believe that he would have stopped there. And I'm not dealing with this every month. He is forcing himself upon this young woman in a way that I think is disgusting.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you.
Arzu says, Wayne is a kleptomaniac with no respect for boundaries who forces the daughter of the man he killed to participate in his monthly masochistic ritual. I don't think this is meant to be funny. No, I don't think that it's meant to be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He is stalking this girl. And it's gross. And I don't know that I will find any of his little quirks charming past this point. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Chad is saying that, like, we don't know that she has requested this and that it's, like, the school that might have put those safeguards in place. But it is a little bit odd that the school would be the ones to take those precautions. So I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna be able to like find it, but
I found it. She says, I don't want your money. You don't need to bring it in person.
yeah, but Carrion, the mom didn't tell him to give her the money in person, right? Like the fact that he is showing up in person is like what's fucked up about it, right?
Yeah.
Because we knew in book 1 that he was giving these kids money. Like that is just something that we already were aware of. It's the fact that he has to, like, he is forcing this girl to be part of his self-inflicted punishment that is fucked up. And I think that we all agree that it is fucked up. I just also think that we know that we don't have all of the details on who has asked for what, so.
I'm not gonna be able to find the specific line,
Yeah, it's weird. Obviously the school is like no male visitors in the women's dormitory. Like obviously like there's like lines that are in place about that, but the guards are made aware of Wayne specifically to not let him in. So it's messed up, but I think that the book acknowledges it's messed up. I don't think that it's portrayed in a like positive light.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy Wayne with this lens on him.
Sure.
Like, unless he, like, again, unless he acknowledges that the way that he's handled this is wrong, I'm like, Wayne is just, I'm kind of grossed out by him now.
Yeah.
The like, charming, sort of affable idiot thing is just kind of gone for me now.
Yeah.
And it's not quirky anymore, it's dangerous. And Wax should be a fucking grown-up and deal with the way that his friend is behaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if you have a friend who says inappropriate things around women sometimes, and he's really good at the job that you guys do, and so you put up with a couple of comments that are a little weird, right?
Yeah.
It's another when there's an 18-year-old girl involved, and you're breaking into the place that she lives to remind her that you killed her dad. It's really off-putting. It was one thing in book 1 when he's like, yeah, I send them money and they use it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, it sucks, but, like, sending the money is one thing. But, like, I really didn't like this. Yeah. And, like, I think that it reframes Wayne in a way that makes him a character who I am more grossed out by than find funny.
Yeah.
And it also makes me go, Wax, you're being a child about this. You need to...
Well, again, I don't know how much Wax knows. Wax might be under the impression that he goes to the school and has a, like, predetermined meeting with this girl to give her the money. Like, that, like, he probably doesn't know that he has to sneak into the school and bribe his way in. There's no reason for him to know that, so yeah. Depending on what Wax knows will also reframe my view of him as well.
Yeah, and if that's where this is going, right? And that Wax finds out how Wayne is handling this and steps in, I would actually like that, right? I think that would be a direction for this to go that I would be interested in, right? Where, like, Wax shuts this down and is like, hey, you're being incredibly selfish. This is kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
You have to stop doing this.
Yeah.
Leave the poor girl alone and let her move on.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you have to get out of her life.
Yeah.
And Gambaro says, it isn't a sexual thing. Wrong and fucked up, but not dangerous. Dangerous and sexual are not the same thing, right?
Yeah, they're not mutual. That's not... we're not saying that Wayne is going to go in there and, like, sexually assault her.
Yeah, I'm saying that...
Danger can mean a lot of things.
It can be dangerous for her mental health, which it is.
Yeah.
This girl needs to move on and grow up and be allowed to... She needs to be allowed to move on, and this grown man won't let her.
Yeah.
Right? And she's not going to feel safe, right? This guy's going to keep showing up. The guy who killed her dad. Yeah. It's not like he killed her dad. Like, I don't know that she thinks that Wayne is safe, right?
Yeah. Like, if I had to go about my daily life being like, goddamn, on the 1st of the month, tomorrow, some fucking guy is gonna show up. The guy that killed my fucking dad, and I'm gonna have to look at him in the face. Like if I had to go about my life like that,
Yeah.
where every month this guy shows up to remind me that my dad is dead.
Yeah.
That you are perpetually living in a state of trauma. Like, you literally can't move on from that if you don't.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there counting down the days.
Yeah.
To the 1st of the month when this motherfucker shows up.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it's just it's. Yeah. Judah Canizers, thank you for that super chat. Wax probably doesn't question it because to him he thinks it's just a means of atonement and he knows how guilty Wayne already feels, so he doesn't push it. Yeah, and that's probably what it is.
Yeah. I don't think that Wax knows all of the details for sure.
Yeah.
Because even when we see him ask Wayne about it, like, there's not much given, right?
Yeah.
He's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, and they move on from it very quickly.
And James Ross says Wayne thinks he's doing the right thing by punishing himself.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Here's the thing about creeps.
He is immature.
They don't think they're creeps. Like that no, but really though.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people who are fucking creeps, particularly towards women, don't think that they are.
Yeah.
Because they are not able to view the woman in the situation as a person, right? They are like, Wayne is not considering her in this.
Yeah.
Right? He is considering himself. And it's about what he needs. Yeah. And it's not about what she needs. Yeah. And he's the adult in this situation. And she's not. She's like 18, right? Yeah. And no, James Ross, I agree with you. I just I agree with what you're saying. I'm not I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that, like,
both things are true.
The tough thing about,
he is definitely viewing this as a self-punishment and is also not taking her feelings into consideration because he is putting his need to punish himself before her request to not drop this off in person.
And, like, now the, like, relationship he has with Renette isn't funny. It was kind of funny in the first book because it seemed like Renette had all the power in it. Now it's not. And if he interacts with her that way again in this book, I'm going to be off. I'm just going to be like, oh, that's gross. Wayne, you got to figure some shit out, brother.
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel like we've talked about it enough. I feel like I've made my point clear. I could talk about it for an hour, but I really think that book club is better when we move off of tangents like this at some point.
It's not a tangent. I think that this is a very central part of this section, and I'm glad that we have, like, thoroughly explored it. And you know, it seems like chat is on this, like, Chad agrees. It's a really weird, fucked up thing. Yeah. That I am really interested to see where it goes and how Brandon Sanderson deals with this and what it means for his character, for sure.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting. It's rare for me to read a book where a character that I like becomes a character that I don't this quickly.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Hey, like, I think a lot of people have been in the situation where they hang out with a friend that they know for, a couple months, maybe a year, and then you learn something about that person that is incredibly fucked up. Yeah. And you're like, holy shit. Yeah. That reframes them as an entire human being in my eyes. I don't think I can be associated with this person. Well, people do fucked up things.
How often, though, let's be real about this. How often in our situations where we've had to excommunicate people from our friend group has it been guys in the way they treat women?
It usually is.
And, like, recently.
We don't usually tell people to fuck off out of our lives, but the times that we have done it, it is because it is men being disgusting and disrespectful towards the women in their lives.
Yeah.
Every time.
Genghis Khan says, I mean, you liked Moash. Moash was the victim of most of what happened to him. And then he handled it wrong and was an interesting character, but, like,
yeah, they're not very
I don't know
similar at all.
Wayne is the Elhokar in this situation, not the Moash, right?
Yeah.
I hope that's at least.
I mean, I don't
understandable.
really think there's any comparison. Their situations are so vastly different. Like,
But
I
Moash,
don't think
the
that...
reason why Moash ended up in that situation was because he was the victim, not because of his actions.
Yeah, Moash became not the victim because he decided to be a fucking murderer, but, like, yeah. It's, again, it's fucked up and it's complicated, and I think that Brandon Sanderson, like, having those kind of conversations is interesting, which is why I'm hopeful that this moment in the book isn't swept under the rug, that it is explored and condemned for the poor behavior that it is. Like, I hope that I get to see Wayne grow as a character and maybe grow up and be like, that's fucked.
Talon Ramel says, I think Matt is a better comparison than Moash. Yeah, but the problem is I didn't start to hate Matt until like 7 books in.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a moment in the carriage that is the moment where I was like, oh, I don't like Matt. Oh, that sucks. You all know what it is. I talked about it for hours. Marcy is carrying coffee around to her office.
Pretty much.
And mostly...
She's like, what if the governor's corrupt? And he's like, what? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, those are the people we work for. And Marcy's like, but wait, I thought we worked for the people. And Aradella's like, what? Yep, you got me there. You got me there.
And she gets sent to go listen to the speech of the governor in the crowds out in the middle of the street. It's a great place to have a speech when people are upset. Yeah.
I mean, that's what everybody does.
Dangerous. He doesn't have bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
That won't be... And the speech goes fine. Nothing happens.
Oh, yeah. Totally chill.
Nothing happens.
Super duper casual.
Wax is flying. Literally. And he is... What?
Wax is flying, literally.
Yeah,
yes, that is correct.
And, he's burdened by the fact that he's kind of thinking about how difficult it is to have so many people who rely on him financially.
Responsibility is tough.
I only have, 3 people, and...
That's a lot of responsibility.
I can't deal with that. I don't know how he does it, to be honest.
Imagine how the CEO of Costco feels having to go to his investors monthly and be like, no, dude, the chickens are $8. You shut your fucking
We're
pie
not
hole."
raising the fucking price of the hot dog.
Yeah.
If you change the $1.50 hot dog, I will fucking murder you, is one of the funniest quotes in the history of corporate America.
Did he say that?
I don't think it was a CEO. It was one of the people at I'll pull up the exact quote because it is
Oh, that's hilarious. Anyways, if you need a place to shop because, your local grocery store is corrupt, Costco's great.
Costco co-founder Jim Sinegal is known for saying, if you raise the fucking hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's great. He actually seems like a cool dude.
So funny.
Shop at Costco. Highly recommend.
Can you imagine being like, can we sell the hot dog for $2? I will murder your family.
Everyone you know will die a slow and painful death if you make people pay 2 more quarters for a hot dog.
So, Wax is flying around and figures out, he finds Wayne. And Wayne is like, why didn't you just fucking kill me? And Wax is like, because you were just kind of sad. And if I had caught you in the middle of it, I probably would have.
Yeah.
And Wayne's like, good, thanks, bud.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being honest with me and telling me that you would have killed me. I needed to hear that.
I mean, yeah. I get that.
Yeah. We cut over to Marcy, who is in a market, and some lady is like, hey, these apples are $10. And
Marcy's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's because people are very worried. There's some shipments that are not going through. The stores in the city are basically depleted, so if...
And the floods out in the east kind of caused some shipment problems with food.
So if a shipment doesn't come through, they're worried about the city starving, and so people are already raising their prices prematurely.
Yeah, that's not relevant at the moment at all.
Certainly not. Wax thinks he sees Bloody Tan again.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck? I killed that guy.
And Marcy was sent to the reporter section to listen to the speech. She can't really see it, but she can hear it.
Yeah.
She's behind a stair.
Yeah. Anyways, they find the Idashwi. They find her dead on the floor of her apartment.
With a big old hole in the middle of her chest.
Hemalurgy.
Where have we heard of people having holes in them before, huh?
I mean, everyone has holes in them.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Everyone
has holes in them. That's
my
the t-shirt.
favorite book as a child. Everyone has holes in them.
It's the sexual education book that you read. Oh my god.
And then we cut over to Mary.
I want to make that t-shirt. Everyone has holes in them.
Everyone has holes in them. We never make any of the teachers because neither of us can do art.
I know. We say we're going to make a t-shirt and then I forget.
Everyone has holes in them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Marzi is in the crowd, and the governor comes out, and instead of giving a speech to calm the population, this riled up population who's worried about food and all these things,
he starts talking about how great his corrupt brother was.
Which, like, guys, I know I keep doing...
Bad politician.
I keep doing Trump, and I know we won't be political, but, like, did you guys watch the press conference yesterday where he was like, DEI was responsible for the plane crash? And
that
it's
is
like,
basically
my
what
guy,
the speech was.
What are you talking about? The pilot was white. The air traffic controller was white. The helicopter pilot was white. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And it's the same thing. And like every reporter at Trump's thing yesterday had the exact same fucking face that Marcy has at this one, where it's like that. This isn't. Just calm the population down. Just say that you feel bad about the people who died and calm the population down. Yeah. Like I don't. It's not that hard. But you're fucking terrible at this.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes these books feel like real prescient to what's going on right now. And this book like being about weirdly, like the corrupt government.
Weirdly so, yeah.
Causing food prices to get higher and not lower.
Yeah, it's not good. Yep.
Marcy is like, this is
Marcy's
not.
like, it's not going well,
good.
And then suddenly the guard pulls out a fucking gun to shoot the governor, and Marcy screams. She runs forward. She grabs this guy and slows down time. She's like, thank God I had some cadmium because I didn't last time, and I didn't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
So the shot gets fired, but because we're in the bubble, it's fine. The governor is not shot. She's able to like.
Well, because the bullet hits the edge of the bubble and ricochets wildly.
It could have hit someone else.
Yeah. Definitely dangerous in a crowd, right?
Dangerous, for sure, but better than the governor being assassinated in the middle of everything like that.
Well, and this is a point that I made in the audiobook reaction that I do stand by. Even though he is corrupt, because of the state of the city, him being publicly executed would still be worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, the response of a population when the leader gets violently murdered in public...
Not good.
When things are already boiling over...
Not good.
Would be... It's the same reason why, like, the president dying is always a bad thing. Because people freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
And in the freaking the fuck out, do reckless things that cause other bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's a domino effect situation. And so, Marcy, despite the fact that she's saving a corrupt man, actually saves a lot of lives that are outside of the dangers of his corruption because, you know, it would be bad for him to die in this way.
Yeah. Line is, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant for 14 months.
Haven't you realized that the Deep State planned for you to read the book so we'd time it to reality?
Is Arzu the Deep State?
Arzu is the Deep State,
Damn.
yeah.
Shit. All right.
Yeah.
What does that make James Ross in blue? Also the Deep State?
Yeah, well, the Deep State is more than one person, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a big robot that gave the answer 42.
Yeah. Karen says, but only after he acted weird and seemed to talk to himself. This is really giving me some bad vibes, especially if Adashwi seeing her dead brother and waxing bloody tan. Yeah, that is a good point. There is something to that.
There's something sus going on.
The problem is that I don't think that, like, unless there's a new god.
What if someone figured out how to use emotional allomancy to make people hallucinate?
Ooh, shit, that would be dope.
That'd be terrifying. That would be AI all over again. This book is too relevant. This book is... I quit. I can't do it anymore.
Clean out the mod swamp. That's funny.
The deeper state.
How can we be the deep state from our mod cages?
You don't need freedom.
It's the illusion of cages.
Yeah. It's the prison of your own mind. You can
Deep.
leave at any time.
Very deep. So then, one of the other guards caught in the bubble knocks the guy out, and the governor is saved. While this is happening, we cut back to Wayne and Wax. They're investigating this lady's house, and Wax is like, "Hey, this is a weird time to do this, but I have this book
that Death gave me.
that was given to me by
Isn't
Marsh.
that an anime? There's a book that Death gives you. You write a name in it. And...
Death Note.
Yeah, damn. They should try writing a name in that book.
And see what happens.
Yeah, just
if this just becomes Death Note, that would be insane.
That would be very funny.
Wax is like, my middle name is actually Light.
Yeah.
Didn't know if you knew that, but my name is Waxilium Lightladrian.
Light Ladrian. Light Ladrian feels like a weird, like, foreign superhero name.
Good evening, I'm Light Ladrian.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, because Light Lad would be that would definitely, yeah. He is Dawn Shot.
Right,
yeah,
right,
Dawn
right,
Shot
right,
and Light
right.
Lad would actually be fucking...
Absolutely.
Twin... No, it's my iPhone case.
Hilarious. No, yeah.
So, yeah, they read...
read about her hemalurgy.
Yeah.
And it's probably not good.
So someone...
Probably not good.
And then Wayne is sifting through the woman's pockets because Wax didn't loot the body.
Rookie mistake.
Loot his corpse, steal his vest. They did not loot the body. And Wayne is like, what are you doing, man? And he's like, I was distracted by the giant fucking hole in her chest, dude.
Literally.
And they find a little note that says, someone else moves us, lawman. Which were the final words that Bloody Tan said.
Mr. Suit, no.
Before Leslie died. I actually don't think Mr. Suit has anything to do with this.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because I'm like, he could have his fingers in a lot of pies. But this one feels so weirdly specific.
Yes.
To Bloody Tan out in the roughs. But they could be involved. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Who knows? Something else moves us, lawman. And that's the reading for the week. We got through it all.
Hell yeah.
I have no idea how long this book club was because we had to restart it, but
we did good. High five.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I have to go pee again.
Oh no.
Ew,
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'll be right back.
Yeah, this book is interesting so far. I do hope at some point Wax becomes more invested in the corruption, in ending the corruption and helping the people, and less and this isn't about him, I think, being callous to the problems on the street. Wax as a character just gets very hyperfixated on the murderers, right? And I think that I want him to get a little bit more into, especially because of his power as a lord, I want him to get a little bit more into the stopping the corruption and helping people part of it. Karen says, didn't Bloody Tan also mention something about having seen death with his spiked eyes too? Sure, yeah, but whether or not that's literal or not, I don't know. Yeah,
that just could be like a weird, like, religion thing.
Yeah, I think, like, what's weird about it is if they do, like, there's a new god speaking to people, the way that Ruin did in the last Mistborn series, I think that would be weird.
No, yeah.
It'd be kind of weirdly repetitive, so I'm wondering where this goes that feels like it's something new.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm honestly excited that we get to keep reading now.
Yeah.
So we took a long break because we had a week off.
Yeah.
Story schedule this month is a little bit all over the place because we're bopping around and traveling. But I'm super excited to get through this book with you guys. I'm
excited to get to Rhythm of War. So we're going to get through...
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to know what happens to Dalinar.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm also enjoying this book. Obviously, I said at the beginning of this book club, this was a weird book club. Sorry, I felt really all over the place today. But it was a very late night on that flight, and
It's true. We got home at like 2:30 in the morning.
yeah, I this was definitely one where like there was a part of me that was like, do we just move it? And then I was like, no, because if we move it, I don't get to keep reading.
Exactly. So we had to do book club.
So I hope I hope this was an enjoyable book club. I feel like
We had some good chats. I'm
Yeah.
happy with it.
I think that today, if you were like, wow, Nerdy had some weird points today, I do agree. Like, I think that, like, I'm really trying... This book, to me, and Mistborn Era 2 so far, is... I'm enjoying it. And I, more so than any of Brandon Sanderson's books so far, I feel like I haven't really figured out how I feel about it yet.
I think it's because maybe, like, we just don't have super strong feelings. And I think that that's fine. I don't think, like, a book has to be revolutionary to be good. I think we've been enjoying our time with it. But we're not like, holy shit, this is the biggest brain concept ever. This is the most massive combat ever. This is the biggest, like, twist on how I see my worldview ever. Like, you know, it's just a good time.
And I think that there's some times where reading this where I'm like, oh, like, there's going to be something big in this. There, like, because coming off of Oathbringer,
Sure.
I'm like, what is the, like, Oathbringer size thing in this? And I think that, like, that is not what this book is going for.
No. Yeah.
And that is not helpful, but it's
But
just,
that's okay.
it is part of the experience of it.
Steak, thank you for that super chat. Next week we're reading up to 17. Right? We have 6 audiobook reactions that are coming your way.
Yeah, I think we're literally reacting to, like, the next 6.
The next, are they in a row?
I think it's like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are reacting to the next 6 chapters. So there's going to be a lot of book club this week. I hope that you enjoy that. Thank you to everyone who gifted this week. Those chapters are commissioned by Jickle04, Blues Barros and Kano, Johnny Coleman and Blues Barros, Arzu, Linus Vikstrom, Johnny Coleman and Kano again.
Hell yeah. Thank you, guys.
Graphic audio, regular audiobook. I find the graphic audio is very overwhelming. Everything I've heard from them, it's too much for me. Yeah, I'm not... if you love the graphic audio, I'm so happy for you. I find... Oh, thank you for that super chat. Sick as me. Yeah. 7 to 17 next week. 6 chapter reactions. It's going to be a really fun one. And then, unfortunately, the following week, we're also off because we're in Los Angeles.
But we do have book club this Sunday.
Because of...
because...
things. Clarence is going to a wedding. And other things are going to happen. Maybe related to Matt Mercer said on Critical Role last night. Life is weird, y'all.
Yeah. Sunday, we'll be back at 11 a.m. with Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Oh, yeah. Sunday Book Club. Guys, it's probably not going to be a 3-hour show. In fact, I would be surprised if it is. But do show up, read Morning Glory Milking Farm, or don't. And then come Sunday and just listen to us talk about it.
We'll tell you all about the Minotaur penises that we've been described to in this book.
I have finished it. And I liked it. And Clarice is a third of the way in and keeps looking at me as if I have, like, personally victimized her by making her read this book.
Yeah, this is your fault. Yeah, no, please come join book club with no context. It's gonna be a wild fucking ride.
And straight up, no conflict. Get ready to listen to us talk about a book where there are 0 problems. Except racism.
Sure, haven't gotten to that part yet. Should we do high-low?
I did not listen to that on audiobook, Emily Bloom. I read that. I don't know that I would want to listen to smut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The like, you'd have to be really particular about the narrator.
Yeah, there's a part of me that's like, should that just be on the Nerdy Wordy Book Club channel?
What?
But we'll do it here.
That book club?
Yeah, the smut book club. Arzu also can't listen to smut. Yeah, I don't know. Full voice inside. If it was I would do graphic audio for smut.
I don't know. It's called Morning Glory Milking Farm, Bridge 4.
Here's the premise. I don't remember the lead character's name.
Violet?
Violet is a young woman with an expensive college degree and a lot of debt who takes a job at a farm where she jerks off minotaurs
for
because their cum is used to make Viagra.
Pretty much, yep.
And along the way, one of those minotaurs catches
Makes
her heart.
her feel a certain way.
Is there any conflict in the book? Not one iota.
Great.
Not one single iota. But we'll talk about how we'll talk about that when we come back on Sunday.
Yep.
It's honestly for 240 pages. It's quick. It's
Yeah.
All right,
High
y'all.
low.
Thank you for joining us for book club. We're gonna do high low. We're gonna get out of here. Clarus, what is your high for these first 7 chapters of Shadows of Self?
I think that fun. I think that the high was actually getting to see more of the world and the city and understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And like the conflict of the world itself, that things are maybe not great. People are losing their jobs. Like that there is more going on underneath the surface.
Yeah.
Than just, we have some corrupt politicians and there's some murders. I think that the book did a great job of setting up that this story is going to be more complex.
Yeah.
And this world is going to be more complex, which is very interesting. Like, I am excited to explore that because, doing a world where Sazed is just good at everything and there's no conflict and it's perfect is boring. And so we know Sazed is a good person and has created this world to try to be the best that it can be, but it is still flawed, and I like that.
Thank you for the super chat. Steak is me.
You.
I did not write the Minotaur book.
No.
I wish I had. So then my low for this first section, because we compliment Sanderson, I'll do my high last. My low is having Wayne reframed in a way that's going to make me enjoy him less.
Yeah, I think that's clearly mine as well.
It's not less interesting.
No.
It's just that...
It's less fun.
Yeah.
Wayne is now less fun.
Is that your low as well?
Yeah. What's your high?
My high... This is so dumb. My favorite moment from this whole reading was fucking Steris being like, oh no, I'm going to invite people who want to kill you so that when things go wrong, I know why. I think that is the funniest fucking shit in the world, and I just love her. The Steris to me really has captured my heart in Era 2.
Yeah.
And she's been fridged and she's been kind of not around as much as other characters, but she's so funny and so practical, and like her being like, yeah, I'm just gonna invite people who want to murder you so that when they act up, I'm not surprised by it. It's just such a funny fucking idea, and I love her, and I want her to be in the book more.
Honestly, I could use more Steris. 100%.
More Steris, less Wayne. Is where I'm starting to go.
Yeah, feel that.
If you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave mean comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. So that algorithm goddess is... Steris. Yeah. Or Marcy. The 2 women.
Yeah.
If you want to follow us around... Marcy drives. Real good. And I also love that we didn't talk about it earlier in the book, but I meant to bring it up. I love that they were like, hey, girl, can you drive a bunch so that we can figure out if cars are good for cops?
Oh, yeah.
And, she's like, yes.
Absolutely.
I will give you all the statistics on my time as a cop.
Yeah.
Driver.
Light Blind Fool, welcome back to the Nerds Radiant for 27 months. Let's fucking go. Steris is the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
We love Steris.
If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
And, as always, do something nerdy tonight. Clarus! Now that everyone's gone, where would you add sex to this beginning of the book?
There would be minotaurs. No.
It's Smut Club, Smut Corner, or whatever we call it.
Man, I don't fucking know. This is a weird one.
There's not a great moment to add sex.
How do you think Wax and Steris have sex? Is she like, here is your predetermined script? I want you to read these lines, and I want you to do these positions here, and here's the diagrams, and I just learned this play that we are going to reenact for our wedding night.
I'm not gonna lie. They have not had sex yet, which is what's tough.
Yeah.
I would love for Marcy to get a boyfriend.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But So I don't know where to add smut here because I don't at the party at the beginning, right? They're all corrupt. There's probably like a live sex show.
Oh yeah, the art is actually an orgy.
Can you imagine? Like, it would suck for the man in Sex to be a Steel Runner because then you're just jackhammering away at a pussy. But like, if the woman was, can you imagine? You're like, oh my god, lying on your back. Some woman gets up on you on like cowgirl, and then just starts to like, at superhuman speed, just bounce up and down on it.
Would you even feel it at that point, or would it just be like a weird like vibration?
No, because there are like machines that move up and down faster than a human can, and apparently I've never used one, but apparently they feel great.
But that's still not like fast. Like that's not. It's not that fast. Yeah, friction burns. That sounds rough.
Guys, use lube. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, if you're going that fast, you're still creating heat, right?
Stays me, thank you for that super chat. Wayne in graphic audio has an Irish accent and changes accent when he's disguised. Oh, fun.
That is very cool.
Michael Kramer does the same, except his main accent is
not Irish.
Lopen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think someone like flying up and down on my dick at like hyperspeed would be very fun. One time.
Fun to try.
I don't know that it'd be something I want all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm like, this is what I want all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I get the appeal of like being like, let's try this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, this is a hard book to have sex to. Because it's like, he went to see his grandma. They went to a dead woman's apartment. They chased a murderer through the streets.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of downtime.
What if you could make yourself really light, though? And you could have sex so that it was like, you're basically like just floating. It wouldn't be like 0G, but like it'd basically be like sex in space. That sounds fun.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, as soon as Wax left to go fight the marksman, Sarah started masturbating immediately.
She's like, God,
She's
Wax
like,
is
gone.
so hot that he's a working man.
Because you know she
I
has
love that
like...
he leaves me alone and gets out of the house.
She has like an early prototype vibrator. And it's like connected to a big machine to make it work.
Oh God, that's just so conspicuous. That's rough, man. But yeah, rich people.
Oh man, Smut Corner's hard in some of these books. It was so funny in Wheel of Time. Because
now we're like...
Well, because Robert Jordan was such a weird, kinky motherfucker.
But also a prude?
Yeah.
Like, both were true
And so
at
it's
the same
easier
time.
to do. Now it's hard because it's like... Marisy's not going to fuck anybody in this.
No.
Yet. Next week.
She's going to find someone.
All right, y'all, that's Book Club. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. This has been so fun. We'll be back on Sunday with Morning Glory Milking Farm. It's going to be a very different show. It's definitely going to be demonetized.
Yeah. So super chat because it's going to be demonetized.
Or no. Or just come hang out. Thank you all for being here. We will return later with more.
Later with more.
Bye,
The
everybody.
Nerdy Nightly story.
Thank you to our mods. Seriously.
Thank you, mods.